Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Pokémon starts with binding the dragon god system. Chapter 41. In the audience, there are already people in black who slowly retreated. These are the lackeys of the eldest lady, Amy Yip. They got the task and needed Lin Qing's blood. The leader was called Yi Lu, and the follower was his younger brother Yi Su. In order to let the eldest sister drag Huo Sha and her son off the stage, they dared to do anything. When they saw Lin Qing walking towards the toilet, they set off. Now they have come to the men's toilet below and squatted. There are a total of 5 pits, all of which are separate cubicles. In order not to alert the enemy, they found a pit and locked it in. And today is destined to be a difficult day for these two talents. First, when they entered the pit, they noticed that the smell was wrong. It turned out that the shit that the fool had taken before was not flushed away. It was also diarrhea. The smell. It was suffocating. The two brothers hurriedly covered their mouths and noses and pressed the flush button. The flush button was broken. Just when the two wanted to go out and change toilets, they seemed to hear Lin Qing's voice and had already walked to the door. At that time, he didn't think about it, and his brother Yi Lu's eyes were determined and fierce. Then he nodded violently, as if he was going to die, and locked the door of their squat toilet with shit. At this time, they heard 3 people coming in from outside, and as expected, there was Lin Qing. It seems that there are 2 more men. Just now, Zhang Hu and Wang Chuang, the 2 right-hand men, saw that Lin Qing won the first place and wanted to come over to flatter him. Because he was just beaten by someone with Raichu, he wanted to ask big brother Lin Qing for help. Just saw Lin Qing was going to the toilet. After they carefully felt it, they seemed to have the same intention, so they came in a group. As soon as they entered the toilet, Zhang Hu and Wang Chuang couldn't hold it anymore, and they started looking for a squat toilet while holding their stomachs. What a coincidence! The squat toilet that Wang Chuang and Zhang Hu found, one on the left and one on the right, just sandwiched the chlorophyll brothers in the middle. Lin Qing wanted to go in, but his cell phone suddenly rang. It was from his mother Huo Sha. He went out to answer the phone. Just 1 second after Lin Qing went out to answer the phone, he left. Zhang Hu came up from the squat toilet and said, "Ding. Ding, ding." 3 huge farts. In the toilet, there seemed to be an echo. Those who didn't know would think that someone inside had exploded. The 3 huge noises shook the hearts of the chlorophyll brothers next to him 3 times. Then, accompanied by an extremely intoxicating smell, a gas that was visible to the naked eye and extremely lethal floated in from the next door. Yi Su was about to roll her eyes on the spot, and just wanted to hide to the other side and keep a distance. Then she heard the acrobatics in the squatting pit next door starting. If the sound in Zhang Hu's squatting pit was thunderous, then the sound coming out of Wang Chuang's squatting pit was 1,000 firecrackers. Crackle, bang, bang, cha, crackle. I had diarrhea as soon as I heard it. A series of sticky farts seemed to have the attack attribute of poisonous elves, and Yi Su next door rolled his eyes on the spot. The eldest brother Yi Lu was still desperately pinching his younger brother Yi Su's philtrum to wake him up. He silently said in his heart, "Hold on. Just bear it a little longer. As long as Lin Qing's blood is obtained, it can be proved that he is not the master's seed. Yizime will definitely reward her 2 younger brothers at that time." Just as they were still struggling, Zhang Hu next to them started again. Ding, 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 ding. I don't know if Zhang Hu's intestines are tied up, the fart is so loud. It's like an alarm. Yi Lu next to him was so scared that he wanted to go out immediately, but just when he wanted to go out, he heard Lin Qing talking on the phone at the door again. It seemed that he was about to come in, and Yi Lu was so scared that he immediately shrank back. At this time, Wang Chuang next to him also came to assist, and a series of loud farts seemed to tell Zhang Hu next door, "Get out of the way. Let me suffocate them to death." At this moment, Zhang Hu suddenly spoke, "Hey, I said that the fish-flavored pork shreds at lunch were not fresh. Brother Hu, do you have extra paper? I have diarrhea. I don't have enough paper. Ouch, oh my god. It's coming again. My goodness." Then there was another round of diarrhea. Zhang Hu said with a disgusted look on his face, "What are you crying for? Don't disgust me. You feel so good when you take a shit, like a slut." "I don't have any. Ask the neighbors if they have any." When Yilu heard that the other party wanted paper, he immediately started looking for it, because the other party was about to finish. Finally, he didn't have to endure the chemical attack. Yilu didn't say anything and quickly handed over a pack of paper. Wang Chuang saw it and said with gratitude, "Brother, you are such a good person, thank you." The hand that stretched out from under the toilet baffle was holding a pack of paper and shaking it, as if he couldn't wait. Wang Chuang wiped his butt and said, "There are still many good people in our school." After about 5 minutes, Zhonghu was also fine. Yilu finally breathed a sigh of relief. The 2 chemical weapons were finally gone. But, the calmest time, maybe the most dangerous. The younger brother Yisu, who had just passed out of shock, didn't know what shit he smelled, and suddenly stood up and vomited in his brother Yilu's arms. Ah, Yilu, who had full resistance to poison gas, finally couldn't stop it. This move was comparable to the dissolving liquid of the old monster, with extremely strong corrosive ability. Yilu was immediately defeated. He rolled his eyes and fell headfirst into the pit that he had not flushed. Lin Qing, who had just finished a phone call, peed in the urinal, shook twice and left. Who could have imagined that Zhonghu and Wang Chuang, 2 unknown soldiers of the 5 Tiger Generals, actually helped their big brother kill Wenqiu and Yan Liang in the men's bathroom of the Elf Academy? Lin Qing, who returned to Sharona, also saw his father who was given away for free and his father's first wife. Lin Tiancheng praised Lin Qing with great appreciation. "Not bad. He is my son, Lin Tiancheng. He is capable and responsible. He didn't embarrass me." Lin Qing, contrary to his usual behavior, directly searched on his father, and said while searching, "Brother Tiancheng. Is there Wazi?" Sharona was also confused at the time. Why is this tone so familiar? Has he recovered his memory? Lin Tiancheng was confused. Wasn't he quite normal just now? Then Lin Qing started again. He smoked a farongwang in front of his father. He looked so happy when he was puffing out smoke. Then he called Su Qinyan and her sister over and hugged one each. He was just like a second-generation gangster leader. "Oh, Dad, Auntie, do you have money? I just found 2 girls. So happy. I have no money, give me a few $100 million. Hurry up," Lin Qing said while touching Su Tianyan's hand with a squinting face. His expression was vulgar and arrogant. Everyone was confused. Lin Tiancheng's face looked as ugly as if he had eaten 2 pieces of stinky mud. This guy was hugging people left and right outside, smoking in front of his father and calling himself, "old man." Why didn't I throw him against the wall when he was a child? No, get lost. Lin Tiancheng cursed directly. He couldn't help it, but he regretted it after he said it. Even Amy Yip next to him looked extremely scared. When Lin Qing heard his father say that he had no money and asked him to get lost, he immediately laughed. There is no Lin family member who doesn't know the motto of the living king of hell. He either wants money or life from you. Whoever doesn't give him money, he will take his life. When Lin Tiancheng thought of what this fool had done before, he panicked and pulled Amy Yip to leave. Lin Qing ran over directly, hugged his Aunt Amy Yip's neck and whispered in her ear very teasingly, "My dear aunt. I miss you so much after not seeing you for a long time. You are so beautiful again, you must be very moisturized. Can you lend me some money to spend?" Amy Yip was so scared that she screamed. If he took advantage of her aunt in public, who knows what people would say about him? "Ni ma, let your aunt go." Lin Tiancheng was annoyed. What the hell is this? What, Dad, you want to give me 200 million to buy cigarettes? Lin Qing glared, and then tried to pull the jade pendant off Amy Yip's neck. This is Amy Yip's baby. She jumped up on the spot and ran behind Lin Tiancheng. This Amy Yip is also well maintained. Although her face looks like a vicious woman, she still looks good. Lin Qing often peeked at her bathing when she was a child. When he was caught, he said very arrogantly, "My father's future is all mine. My father's women are also my women." Lin Tiancheng was so scared that day. He didn't dare to have a 3rd child since then, because he was afraid that the child would be Lin Qing and the first wife's. Huosha in the back pretended not to see it and said something to Sharona. From time to time, Huosha could be seen laughing. Lin Tiancheng was annoyed. This fool had abused all the dozen maids he found at home before, and he spent a lot of money to appease the girls. There were even some who had abortions and jumped into the river. Lin Tiancheng, who originally missed his son very much, just wanted to hide away when he saw Lin Qing. And let him go home to live. Go back to the big onion duck. When he returned home, who knows how many people would jump off the building, and the next day he opened his eyes and saw someone dead at the door of the house. Go. Can't stay for a second. Go quickly. At that time, Lin Tiancheng directly pulled Yi Zimei with one hand and Huo Sha with the other hand and walked out. Lin Qing was still howling behind. Auntie, I'll go to you for dinner tonight, you should dress nicely. Lin Tiancheng looked like he had eaten shit. Is this thing his biological child? After getting in the car, Lin Tiancheng said angrily, if any of you have anything to do with him in the future, don't come into the house. Especially you, Yi Zimei, keep a distance from him. Don't let me catch you. Quote. Master, I'd rather die, Yi Zimei cried and banged her head against the car door. I'm so annoyed. Lin Tiancheng was also very angry. If he had known, he would not have come. He thought his son would be better after coming out of the mental hospital. This is a sin, Huo Sha said with a wronged look. I told you, don't provoke him. I'm so worried, I can't sleep every day. I finally coaxed him to go to school. Lin Tiancheng originally thought that if Lin Qing was normal, he could ask his family to live with him, but this time he completely gave up. Huo Sha felt so happy when she saw Yi Zimei's expression. She called Lin Qing in the afternoon and asked him to behave like a fool as before, and not let his family think that he was normal, otherwise she would be in trouble when she returned. If they were allowed to live together, it would be troublesome if they found out that they were not his biological children. Lin Qing asked the system in the toilet at that time. What big things Lin Qing had done before, you don't know if you don't ask, and you are shocked when you ask. Before this, Lin Qing actually put drugs in the food of his first wife Yi Zimei when his father was abroad. If Yi Zimei's son hadn't come back at that time, Yi Zimei might not know who to call her husband. Absolutely. Now that his mother Huosha and the others had left, Lin Qing had become a normal person again, but the three girls next to him had to explain themselves. Sharona was annoyed and didn't say anything. The two sisters Su Qinyan looked at Lin Qing with a sly look on their faces. You two go back first. What do you mean by two girls? Can't you say they are girlfriends? That's so ugly, Su Qinyan said angrily. Su Tianyan was thinking about what he had just been. Lin Qing hugged her so forcefully. We are meeting our parents today, right? Oh my god, Sai Gao. After Lin Qing finally sent the two sisters away, he spoke to Sharona with an embarrassed look on his face. I am helping my mother vent her anger. You don't know that auntie. She bullies my mother at home every day. She targets her in business and at home. I just want to piss her off. Oh, if you want to piss her off, just piss her off. What do you mean by hugging those two sisters? I say it again, you can hug them behind her back. Don't let me see. This is my biggest limit. Okay, pay attention next time, pay attention. That night in the Lin family compound, Yi Zimei was throwing pillows with a look of resentment on her face, which made Lin Tiancheng next to her angry. He couldn't do anything with Yi Zimei. She was originally a member of the Yi family. The previous generation arranged for them to marry her to him. This woman is bent on being a dictator. She wants to be the boss not only in business but also at home. She has already pushed Huo Sha far away and even wants to interfere in Lin Tiancheng's affairs. This makes Lin Tiancheng very unhappy. Yi Zimei is already over 30 years old, but her maintenance is no worse than Huo Sha. If Huo Sha dares to use millions of skincare products, she, Yi Zimei, will have to use tens of millions. Her figure and appearance can be said to be full of the charm of a mature woman. Very charming, and she knows men very well, and she has all kinds of unique skills to control Lin Tiancheng. Lin Tiancheng also likes this. Otherwise, how can this woman win so many rights in bed? But today is destined to be another sleepless night. Yi Zimei is holding a pillow and hitting it hard with a wrong face. I won't live, I won't live. You won't help me. Lin Tiancheng is also very annoyed. This Huo Sha is the one he talked to, not the one introduced by his family. Although he looked for Amy Yip for his needs, his heart was still with Huo Sha. Asking him to break off relations with his son. Huo Sha would divorce him in a minute. What the hell? How about we send Lin Qing abroad? Or to the army? Lin Tiancheng said with some doubts, but he thought about it and let it go. Huo Sha would definitely not agree. Later, he felt annoyed and went to Huo Sha to discuss what to do. And just after Lin Tiancheng left, Yizime took out her mobile phone with a gloomy face. She sent Chlorophytum to get Lin Qing's blood in the afternoon. It was 9 o'clock in the evening now. She should be back, right? Why hasn't she come back yet? Thinking of this, she called Yi Lu. The two Chlorophytum brothers were still lying in the men's bathroom of the Elf Academy. With a burst of pika-ping, pika-bang, the mobile phone rang. Yi Lu, who fell headfirst into the shit pit, took a breath suddenly and then stood up. Then he felt dizzy. The breath he just took was high. He looked at the phone and it was the call from the eldest lady Yizime. He panicked at the time and wanted to answer the phone immediately. Before he could say anything, the other party thought they succeeded and started talking about coming back to reward them. But just after he said that the matter failed, Yizime stopped talking and told him to come back quickly. Just after Yi Lu hung up the phone, he suddenly felt something sticky on his hair. It was dripping down in clumps. It seemed yellow, sticky. Yi Lu subconsciously touched it. Then he began to lie on the side of the washbasin while washing his hair. The younger brother Yi Su was awakened by the sound of Yi Lu vomiting. Looking at Yi Lu, who seemed to be washing his hair with his own vomit, the expression at that time stopped there. That night, the two brothers returned to Yizime and faced Yizime's questions. The two kept silent about their past achievements. Will you tell me, what did you do this afternoon? When Yi Lu saw that he couldn't get through, he looked fierce and said very seriously, Madam, we were ambushed by Lin Qing's men. Just when we were about to succeed, the other party directly released a professional-level double bomb gas and started to release poisonous gas into the toilet. Yi Su was stunned when he heard the words and began to exaggerate. There are also dissolving liquids, various self-destruction attacks. I didn't expect that they actually have a master of poison. Madam, don't worry. Let my two brothers call a few capable people tonight. We will get the blood of Lin Qing, the living devil, back within 3 days. If you can't get it back within 3 days, you can go back to the Yi family. We don't need trash like you. Yizime looked at the two brothers coldly and said, and directly signed a life and death statement. After the two brothers of chlorophyll left the Lin family compound, their eyes were extremely determined, as if they had already regarded Lin Qing as a dead man. Zhonghu. Ding, ding, ding. Tonight, Lin Qing was training with the round shark, and Sharona was so happy because she got a potential fish. She bought a big fish tank when she got home, and put the fish in it. Sharona was happy when she saw the fish swimming around. Fish, a fish elf, looks very ugly. It can live not only in rivers, but also in the ocean. It has almost no fighting power, and it is born ugly, so it has become a little elf that is not favored by people. But this group has a special case. That is a kind of fish that loves beauty very much. This fish thinks that it is the most beautiful among all fish. No matter how ugly it looks, it can't affect its self-confidence. There are 2 ways to evolve into melodic. One is to improve its beauty. You can improve the beauty by feeding it energy blocks made from green apricot fruit. When the beauty reaches 170, it can evolve into melodic. Or you can also link and exchange through beautiful scales. And Sharona was looking at the attribute panel of this clownfish, and she was also a little surprised. Clownfish attribute. Water system. Qualification. High level, entry level. Beauty 60. Skills. Water splash, collision, crazy. Attribute, but there is no problem, but the appearance and expression of this clownfish seems to be showing off its beauty. The look of extreme contempt for Sharona made Sharona feel a chill. You mean I blocked your beauty? Huh, what kind of elf is this, competing with its master for beauty? At this moment, the clownfish directly splashed the water surface with a water splash, splashing Sharona all over. It got wet right away. Some outlines were vaguely visible. Lin Qing, who was training with Xiaoxia nearby, had a brain congestion. Hubby, I'm going to change my clothes, can you help me look after me? Watch out for Xiaomei, don't let it jump out. Sharona said and went back to the room. Lin Qing looked at the ugly fish in astonishment. It was uglier than the Carp King, but he actually named it Xiaomei. Lin Qing came to the fish tank and looked at the ugly thing swimming in it with disdain. But just when Lin Qing came over, the ugly fish put on an extremely arrogant expression. Arrogant, confident, narcissistic, incomparable. The expression of this ugly fish seemed to tell others that it was the most beautiful creature. Lin Qing felt sick, and at this moment, the little shark next to him seemed to have heard what the ugly fish said, and he took a notebook and started writing. Lin Qing looked at the little shark who was writing and drawing on the side with some curiosity, and slowly stretched his head over. Then he saw a few crooked big words written by the little shark. "You ugly guy, don't come over." Quote. Lin Qing was furious on the spot. How dare this ugly fish call it ugly? Lin Qing was furious on the spot, his eyes blazing with fire as he shouted, "You! My wife, this fish is useless. I'm going to buy a carbon pot. Let's eat carbon pot fish tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to buy you a 3-seater fish. You dare. If you dare to touch it, I'll cut off your thing." Sharona, who hadn't changed her clothes in the room, threatened sternly. Vanama. Lin Qing was limp. Then Xiaoxia turned another page and wrote again, "Ugly people are more likely to do bad things." Lin Qing's veins burst directly. Since it doesn't work openly, let's do something insidious. Xiaoxia, come here. Pee inside. Shark. Quickly. Pee inside. Discuss this thing to death. Quote. Just when the little shark was about to run away, the ugly fish Xiaomei in the fish tank jumped out directly. It seemed to have bitten a certain part of the little shark, and the whole shark screamed in pain on the spot. At this time, Sharona, who heard the noise, hurried out, and then saw Lin Qing pulling Xiaomei's tail desperately, while Xiaomei bit the little shark's body. It seemed to have bitten some key part. You, I count to 3. If you don't stop, none of you will survive to the next episode. Quote. First, Lin Qing, who was afraid of his wife, sold the round land shark and let go. Then, because the little shark was pulling its thing, the inertia was relatively large after Lin Qing let go, so that the round land shark fell backwards directly after the other party let go. Then it hit the ground directly, and the ugly fish Xiaomei was directly bounced into the sky, and then landed directly on Lin Qing's face and jumped back into the tank. Can you believe that the dragon god body and the elite flash quasi-god were abused by an entry-level fish? The little shark seemed to have suffered the most miserable torture in his life, lying there spitting white foam, and his legs were twitching. Sharona looked at this scene with an annoyed face, and her hair was flying with anger. Lin Qing immediately went to the refrigerator to get an ice cream, and knelt on one knee to give it to her. Sharona took the ice cream and went to check on her Xiaomei, and Lin Qing went to see if his flash quasi-god was sterilized. After watching for a while, Lin Qing finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the characteristic of the little shark is rough skin. If it changes to other characteristics, this guy will be ruined. At this time, the little shark lying on the ground has only one thought in his mind: I want special training. I want to train even the goosebumps on my body to become like a copper wall, indestructible. But it forgot that Lin Qing's dragon god body can master the abilities and physical strength of all his elves. If the little shark practices that thing, Lin Qing will slowly find that his dragon god body seems to be a little wrong. But by then, even Hua Tuo can't save it. And the ugly fish Xiaomei in the fish tank was desperately spitting bubbles and rinsing her mouth, as if she had eaten ology. Just after Lin Qing and his team had just fought, several men in black suddenly came to the gate of Shushang Yayuan community. It was none other than the 2 chlorophyll brothers. Here for revenge. This time they brought 2 helpers, 2 smart guys who looked like their heads had been clamped by a giant crab. Green brother. Which floor? It should be the 4th floor. We need to use wisdom. Whether it's his blood, saliva or urine. As long as it's liquid, we can take it for testing. Green brother. When will we start? Wait until the dead of night. Wait until they are all asleep. Yi Lu was extremely confident at this moment. Today they brought elves, an elite level aber monster and an elite level naughty bomb. And they also brought a flying hook. When it's midnight while they are asleep, they will directly use a flying hook to go up, then break in through the window, cut Lin Qing's arm with a knife, take blood and run away. Thinking about it, Yi Lu smiled confidently, and the look of being sure of victory scared his younger brother Yi Su next to him half to death. Today, his brother confidently took him to the toilet to attack Lin Qing, and the two were killed by shit. Now Yi Su still has a taste in his mouth. I don't know if it is Zhonghu's fart or Wang Chuang's shit. Brother, is it okay? Yi Su looked at his brother Yi Lu with some concern, and suspicion was all written on his face. Let it go. Don't worry. Looking at Yi Lu's confident look, Yi Su also swallowed nervously. He had made preparations. If the situation was not right later, he would definitely sell out his brother. Run away by himself. Lin Qing, who was at home on the 4th floor, had already gone to bed and was about to sleep, but when he saw his extremely beautiful wife, the lotus that had just come out of the bathroom, he felt dry mouth, so he locked the window with a sunny face and pulled the curtains. Then he carried his wife, Sharona, a princess, to the bed, his eyes full of hints. Lock the door, turn on the music louder, turn off the lights. Sharona looked shy and asked Lin Qing to do these 3 things in 1 minute. Then she got into bed and made love. Just then, Yi Lu and his men who had been lying in ambush downstairs for a long time looked at the time and it was already 11 o'clock in the evening. They saw that Lin Qing had turned off the lights and thought they were asleep. Yi Lu took his flying hook seriously and asked the 3 followers behind him to prepare their weapons, put on masks and get ready to fight. Little did they know, every move of these 4 guys was seen clearly by Xiaosha in Lin Qing's building. At this moment, Xiaosha was practicing his thing with a dumbbell facing the window. When he saw those people hooking on the balcony here with some rope, Little Shark thought of what Lin Qing had told him before, that many people would want to snatch him away because he was a quasi-god and very valuable. So Little Shark threw the dumbbell in his crotch and planned to meet these talents. The 4 Yi Lu people below had already hooked Lin Qing with the flying god hook, and then several people began to climb up. The higher they climbed, the more proud they were. Yi Lu said proudly, "There are good people playing such loud music in the middle of the night. God is helping me. No one will notice the glass breaking later." But these people never dreamed that Lin Qing had replaced every window with tempered bulletproof glass after knowing that Xiaosha would be remembered. Lin Qing was still discussing the various tricks of the elves with Sharona inside, and had no idea that 4 people had come up outside their window. Yi Lu looked at the curtains drawn in the window and the loud music, which seemed to be some DJ Divine Song car subwoofer, and he turned around and told the 3 people behind him, "Keep it down. They haven't slept yet. Wait until they turn off the music." At this time, several people were a little surprised to find that their flying hook had fallen down. Then they saw a round land shark with a smirk on his face upstairs throwing sand at this side, which brought their rope down. Yi Su was furious. Now the 4 of them were huddled on the steps outside the window sill, not daring to move. At this time, Xiaosha got excited and condensed a Rasengan with one hand to send them to the west for tea. Yi Lu was panicked. This was the 4th floor. If he fell down, he would be crippled if not dead. He hurriedly took out the Pokeball of Aber Monster, but there was no place to land. Aber Monster fell from the 4th floor as soon as it came out. He also let out a series of screams, "Kia, Aber!" Yi Su could see that his brother Yi Lu was absolutely mentally retarded. He said he would run away no matter what, even if he was punished by the Yi family, he would run away. He was still a virgin. Just break the window. Yi Lu directly picked up a weapon and smashed it at Lin Qing's window. Dwang! Yi Lu was bounced away by the reaction of the tempered bulletproof glass. He almost fell down. If he hadn't grabbed Yi Su's pants, he would have died. But Yi Su's butt was half exposed. He was panicking. Run! Run quickly! This plot is wrong. The people above. What are you doing? Just then a security guard came over with a caterpie. At this time, the little shark also blasted the Rasengan, and the 2 followers that Yi Lu called fell on the spot, hitting the ABO monster who had just fallen. The eyeballs were smashed out of it. ABO monster! You guys kill me. The explosion just now did not interrupt Lin Qing's training course for Sharona, and the course opened a new chapter again. Yi Lu was also panicking when he pulled his brother Yi Su's pants. The security guard had already called people. If he didn't find a way, he would definitely be in the police station. Thinking about it, he looked at the round land shark above, because there was an open window over there, and he wanted to go into the house. I don't know who gave him the courage, he actually took a little elf food to lure the round land shark. Come, come, I'll give you something delicious. Yi Lu tried to trick the little shark down with food in a flattering face. Shaw, bye, brother, it called you an idiot. Don't complain. Little shark looked at the two talents with a smirk on his face, and condensed the Rasengan again, smashing it directly on the foreheads of Chlorophytum and Yi Su. The two also fell down. A boar monster was hit again. Little shark closed the window with an indignant look on his face, hiding his merits and fame. After more than an hour, Lin Qing looked at Sharona, who was lying on the bed and sweating profusely, and was exhausted and couldn't open her eyes. He also lit a cigarette proudly. Why does it feel that his physical strength is getting stronger recently? More and more brave. No, it should be the dragon god body. Suddenly Lin Qing thought of a question. If he subdues 6 dragon-type elves, doesn't that mean his physical strength will become stronger and stronger? Then at that time, Lin Qing looked at the already asleep Sharona with a calm face and began to daydream. Just when he was Ying, someone knocked on his door. Lin Qing was annoyed. Who was it in the middle of the night? After covering Sharona next to him with a blanket, Lin Qing, who looked unhappy, put on his clothes and walked out. When he opened the door, he saw the security guard just now holding a caterpie and asked, "Hello. I am the security guard of our community. Just now, 4 suspicious people were climbing your window. I came to ask if anything happened at your house." Lin Qing was stunned when he heard this. Could it be some pervert peeping at him and his wife? Thinking of this, Lin Qing was annoyed at the time, and followed the security guard to the security room downstairs with a murderous look on his face. As soon as I came in, I heard a man howling inside, "Officer! Officer, you're drunk, drunk." I thought it was my own home. A female police officer who looked about 20 years old was holding something to record something. Name, age, ID card, what are you doing here? Lin Qing looked at the 4 men being interrogated by a young female police officer. He was annoyed. He recognized that 2 of them followed Amy Yip during the day. Could it be? Come back to the bureau with me. You are suspected of theft, come back to the bureau with me. The young female police officer said with a righteous face, and she wanted to call her colleagues to come and take people. At this moment, Lin Qing came over with a calm face and said, "Ah, cousin, cousin. Why are you here? Go upstairs and drink." "Do you know each other?" the female police officer asked with a puzzled look. Lin Qing nodded repeatedly. "Please don't disturb the people when you play around. Don't do that kind of behavior. I am Officer Yao Anna from the Qingliu City Police Department, responsible for this area. Report to me in time if there are any problems." Okay, okay. After that, the female police officer put on her helmet, raised her legs high and crossed directly into her police patrol car, and drove away. Then Lin Qing brought the 4 kings out of the security room, and then came to the corridor of a building in Shushang Yayuan. "Let's talk. Why did Yi Zimei call you here?" Lin Qing looked at them with a playful look. At this time, Yi Lu was still thinking about how to sneak attack Lin Qing with his naughty bullet to get his blood. "How much money did Yi Zimei give you?" "Ha ha, can we brothers do things for money?" Yi Lu said arrogantly. Lin Qing's eyes were full of indignation. He was thinking about a problem now, that is, his mother seemed to have been asking him to stay away from the Lin family, and the last time his father came to see him. It seemed that his mother Huo Sha was very worried about their contact, so she asked Lin Qing to act crazy and stupid. He was suspicious at the time. Was there something hidden from him? And now that these 4 people were here, he was even more certain. Just as Lin Qing was thinking, Yi Lu next to him suddenly shouted to take action, and the 4 people suddenly jumped up, and Yi Lu also suddenly released a naughty bullet. Skill Sandstorm. Lin Qing looked at the 4 talents speechlessly, raised his hand to dazzle the 4 people, and then a normal version of Quicksand Hell blew the 4 people away. The individual and the naughty bullet were controlled. Yi Su was frightened to death on the spot. He thought Lin Qing had killed them, and he screamed and shouted, "I said, I will tell you everything. Don't kill me, I am still a virgin. I am a virgin. Yi Zimei asked us to come. She said that if we get your blood, we will get 100,000 alliance coins. 100,000 alliance coins are enough for me to spend for 3 years. Big brother, spare my life. I kowtow to you." Lin Qing looked at the man who said he was a virgin with disgust, and then looked at Yi Lu next to him. It was this man who shouted to start fighting just now, and it was obvious that he was the leader. Lin Qing did not indulge him, and directly tightened the quicksand hell. At that time, Yi Lu felt that her anus tightened. It seemed that there was a strange feeling, and then her face turned slightly red. Why are you red? Lin Qing was so disgusted that his scalp exploded, and he slapped him. Yi Su, who was standing next to him, knew Lin Qing's reputation, so she got scared at that time and said with a crying voice, "Second young master, she suspected that you are not the master's biological son. Let us brothers do it. We all came to the city from the neighboring Yejia village to make a living. We can't make much money a year. The master of the Yi family took us in because we all have the surname Yi. Then we were called over by Yi Zime to work for your Lin family, and we know so much. Let us go, we will go back to the village tonight." Lin Qing was stunned when he heard this. Could it be that he is really not Lin Tiancheng's biological son? It is very likely. Maybe his mother Huo Sha has discovered this matter, and Yi Zime also suspected it, so there are so many things. If the matter is exposed, then his engagement with Sharona. No wonder his mother Huo Sha couldn't wait to let them get the marriage certificate. No wonder Lin Qing didn't let him go home after he came out of the mental hospital. Even letting him go to school was to prevent Amy Yip's people from getting close to him. Thinking of this, Lin Qing's face became unfathomable. The four people trapped in the sand didn't dare to speak, just looking at each other. "Here, I'll give you 1 million each. I'll give you another million after the matter is done." Yi Lu's tongue was out of control at that time. "How much? How much? Will you follow me?" Lin Qing sneered and glanced at the four people. Do. 1 million is enough for me to marry a wife. I can do it even if you ask me to eat shit. Yi Lu shouted excitedly. Lin Qing looked disgusted. This man named Yi Lu really disgusted him. He looked like a slow-witted beast and his brain was not very good. "What are your 4 names?" Lin Qing asked with a playful look on his face. He planned to find someone to be the leader and let this second-rate Yi Lu be the eldest brother. Only Wolong could do it. The 4 people are the eldest brother Yi Lu, the second brother Yi Su, the third brother Yi Chu, and the fourth brother Yi Fan. None of them are smart. All 4 are single. All 4 are from Yejia village. All 4 want to make some money to go home and marry the village beauty. The 4 are now living in a rented house. Today, they borrowed their aber monsters and naughty bullets from the elf hunters, 20,000 alliance coins a night, or the money was pooled by the 4 of them. Lin Qing looked at this Yi Fan in a daze. Why did he look so familiar, like the protagonist in a novel? He turned around and shook his head again and again. This guy looked like Rada, with those buck teeth, and he could probably use Rada's special move, the fatal front teeth. Only Yi Su seemed normal. Later, he asked Yi Su to be the person in charge of the 4 people, gave them 4 million and asked them to buy a business-level elf each, and told them that he would give them another 4 million after the matter was completed, and then they could return to Yejia village. At that time, several people nodded and bowed hurriedly, but when the 4 of them heard what Lin Qing asked them to do, their faces were like being poisoned by a fierce toxin, purple and blue. After solving these things, Lin Qing looked at the time. It was already 2 o'clock in the morning, but he couldn't sleep anymore. He felt a little impatient. Then he took another cigarette and smoked it. He knew that although he asked the 4 people to go back and put on a show, the truth could not be hidden, and it might be exposed one day. His mother Huo Sha would definitely be expelled from the house, and even harmed by Amy Yip, and if Sarona's family knew that Lin Qing was a fool, they would definitely let Sarona divorce him. Even if Sarona and he did not agree to divorce, the other party would send a master over, and then who knows what would happen. Lin Qing still understands the principle of being well matched. When Lin Qing thought of this, he felt very uncomfortable. After smoking, Lin Qing sent a message to Sarona, telling her not to worry, he would go out to make money, and asked her to go to school tomorrow and not to worry about him. In order to prevent things he didn't want to happen, he had to do 2 things now. Become a strong man at all costs, and make more money, richer than the Lin family and the Sarona family. After a soft sigh, Lin Qing went to the mall he bought before with a determined look on his face. After looking at the sales that had begun to rise in the past few days, he asked the financial department to calculate that the net profit could reach 60 million alliance coins a month. After Lin Qing restocked his mall through the Universal Store, he looked at the money on him. With the money he earned before, he now had 15 billion alliance coins, but he still felt it was not enough. Not only must you have money, but you must also have power. Only money can't really walk sideways in this world. The one who really walks sideways must be the strongest trainer. It will definitely take time for someone like Lin Qing to become the strongest. He must first accumulate fame and power. And there are only a few ways to gain power and fame. Deal with the evil forces such as the rocket team and the water fleet. Join the team of the 3 heroes of the pure stream. Or join the alliance. Lin Qing doesn't like to live under someone else's roof. After thinking about it, he decided to expand his business empire first, and then make plans to improve his strength. In one night, Lin Qing once again made more than 10 billion through the Universal Store, and then began to register a company named Longye Company, Limited. He bought a large office building as the headquarters, and included the shopping mall and Shushang Yaoyuan community he had bought before. The planning content involved the Elf Center, Elf Ecological Park, Tree Fruit Ecological Park, Elf Mall, online Elf free trading platform, Elf short video, and mobile game Elf Glory. As the main project of the internet, Lin Qing directly invested 5 billion yuan in the Elf free trading platform. In the next week, Lin Qing was recruiting people and doing projects. There is a saying that money can make ghosts push the mill, and without money, you will be a ghost pushing the mill. In the next week, with the blessing of Lin Qing's heavy money buff, a not very prosperous office building in the city center was transformed, and the sign on it also changed. The 4 big characters of Longye Company, Limited are like a rising red sun, slowly rising in the city center of Qingliu City. Rise. For a time, it became the hottest news material in Qingliu City. According to media reports, the Longye business empire, which has recently entered Qingliu City, successfully launched the Elf short video platform, Elf Sound, yesterday. The number of registered users on the first day has reached 6 million. And the number of registered users on the first day of Elf Trading Market has reached more than 1 million. The rise of this business empire has also forced others to start speculating who the owner of this empire is. The 4 major families have now begun to have a strong interest in this emerging force and want to invest in the company. For a time, the undercurrent surged. In these 7 days, Lin Qing almost went home at 12 o'clock in the evening and went out at 4 o'clock in the morning, which made Sharona worried. Those who didn't know thought he had a woman outside. Lin Qing told her that if she was worried about him, she could start the video at any time. If she didn't hear it, he must be busy. Let her not think too much. You said you don't want to think about it anymore. What have you been doing for the past 7 days? Sharona questioned Lin Qing, who was sleeping soundly on the bed, with a dissatisfied look on her face. She was about to explode in her heart. Today was the same. Lin Qing fell asleep as soon as she came back. I haven't talked to her properly for several days. Don't be angry, my wife. I ask you a question. If we don't have an engagement, will you fall in love with me? Sharona was stunned when she heard it. What kind of question is this? Did he cheat? Fall in love with another woman? After getting my body, he will pull up his pants and leave. Hey, I don't love you, don't be conceited. Sharona, who was a little unhappy, tilted her head to the side. She seemed to have guessed what happened next. I'm serious. If one day in the future, we both cancel our engagement for some reason, will you listen to the family's arrangement? Will you stay with me forever? Sharona was immediately annoyed, and said with an unhappy face, tell me. Have you been looking for another woman these days? No, you won't tell me, right? If you don't tell me, I will move out tomorrow. Lin Qing is now in a dilemma. He feels like he is in a dilemma. At the beginning, he told the truth and said that he made tens of millions and 100 million. Sharona didn't believe it at all. The word, scam, was written on her face. When he showed Sharona his money, he directly said that he asked for it for his mother and colluded with his mother. Now Lin Qing is worth hundreds of billions. If he said it was his, Sharona would move out tonight. How do you explain it? This is not. Lin Qing, who doesn't believe in evil, began to tell the truth. There is no one more honest than him in the whole elf crossing world. I said I made 100 billion in the past 7 days. Do you believe it? Longye shares are mine. I also bought an island. And I have tens of thousands of employees. Tomorrow I will attend the Qingliu City Investment Promotion Conference. The 4 major families will come to discuss cooperation with me. I don't want to give my father a chance. After Lin Qing talked for a long time, Sharona's hair was flying. She took out the suitcase from under the bed, put the clothes in it, put the conceited ugly fish in the tank back into the Pokeball, and was about to leave. Lin Qing panicked at the time. Who said that people should be honest? Where is honesty? He quickly stopped his wife and locked the door. Little shark, come to help. Block the door. If she runs away today, I will smash the TV. Then Lin Qing took out his mobile phone with a determined look, and sent a message in a group. Awesome. 5 minutes later, more than 20 luxury cars arrived at Shushang Yayuan. Those who didn't know would think it was a row of train carriages, from one end of the community to the other. 4 men in black suits got off each car and stood in 2 rows downstairs of Lin Qing's building with indifference. Wife, listen to me, what I said is true, this is my people. Lin Qing saw that Sharona was already hesitant, so he quickly snatched her box and ID card and hid them in the house, fearing that she would run away. If this wife ran away, Lin Qing would stomp on the live broadcast. She is beautiful and tall, kind-hearted, and has a strong fighting power in the later stage of the elf. She is also very smart. She is the champion player in TV, the woman standing at the top. At this moment, someone knocked on the door of Lin Qing's house, and a very sweet voice said at the door, "Mr. Lin, the car to the company is ready, you can leave at any time." Sharona didn't say anything, she just exhaled silently, thinking about something in her mind. Lin Qing didn't dare to talk, just stood there, timid, afraid that his wife would get angry and run away. Almost 2 minutes later, Sharona, who had sorted out her thoughts, looked at Lin Qing with a calm face, then went back to the room to tidy up her appearance and came out. Let's go, maybe I should get to know my honest husband again. Sharona took Lin Qing's arm, and her dignified look made Lin Qing stunned. Then he opened the door and saw his company's secretary Ni Union holding a folder and guarding it respectfully, with 8 bodyguards beside him. There were still some tenants in the corridor looking at this place curiously. Why weren't they sleeping at 12 o'clock in the middle of the night? Was it someone's funeral? So many people in black clothes. Whose family died? I don't know. Which funeral company is this? It looks quite professional. Don't talk nonsense. Wow, Longye Company, Limited, their cars are all downstairs. Lin Qing didn't change his clothes. He took them off just after returning home and wanted to go to bed. The secretary was about to put a gray suit on Lin Qing, but was taken away by Sharona. Lin Qing looked at Sharona, who was tidying up his clothes outside with a calm face. Her eyes were very respectful, her manners were very elegant and dignified, and she even looked very well educated when she was tidying up his collar. He felt happy in his heart. If you meet someone who makes trouble, he will make trouble with you outside, and in front of your company employees, he will not give you any face. Let's go, this is my wife, Sharona. Okay, Mr. Lin, okay, Mrs. Lin. When they arrived downstairs, Sharona didn't show too much surprise, and Lin Qing didn't know what she was thinking. With Sharona's help, the two got into the middle car. And the secretary Ni Union was also a smart person. She knew to open the door for Sharona first and led her into the car. After getting in the car, Sharona said calmly, "In the future, follow Mr. Lin when you are outside. Follow the rules. Sorry for the trouble." "Okay, madam, I know." Ni Union has been working as Lin Qing's secretary for 5 days. When she received the news tonight that Mr. Lin was going to pick up his wife to visit the company, she guessed that Mr. Lin, as a man, attaches great importance to the relationship between husband and wife. Then he called 20 cars of the company. The boss of Longye Company, Limited must travel in style. She was also shocked to see that Mrs. Lin was only 15 or 16 years old. "I thought she was a silly girl." The usher just now wanted to give Mrs. Lin a hand, but she was so polite. No wonder she could enter Mr. Lin's house. This woman, who was only in her teens, was not an ordinary naive girl. She was also very good at speaking. I have to be more careful in front of her in the future. As soon as she arrived at the headquarters of Longye Company, Limited, Sharona began to observe. Although it was already 12 o'clock in the evening, there were still some unloading workers unloading the goods with their strength and strange strength, and there was also a team of security guards leading a few cat dogs. You can leave now, you have worked hard today. Lin Qing waved to them and was a little embarrassed. He didn't want to call so many people in the middle of the night, so he wanted to ask Ni Yunyan and others to send them off. But the woman's work really made Lin Qing happy and gave him face. If only one car came, Sirona might not believe it and would still argue. After everyone left the office, Sirona returned to her previous appearance, and her expression changed very quickly. Her eyes stared at Lin Qing like a big snake. Speak, what else are you hiding from me? Why didn't you tell me earlier? Where did you get the money from? I said I made 100 million before, but you didn't believe it. You scolded me. Then I said I only made 10,000. Lin Qing also locked the door of the office and said nervously. And Sirona thought about what Lin Qing had just said at home, and was silent. He seemed to be talking about breaking off the engagement. What do you mean by what you said tonight? Seeing that Sirona got to the point, Lin Qing didn't intend to hide it. He quietly exhaled and said, if I wasn't the second young master of the Lin family and the engagement was annulled, would you marry me? Sirona fell into deep thought at that time. He just got the marriage certificate after being coaxed by his mother, and now he's saying this. Could it be that his mother cheated on his father? You mean, Sirona had thought of something. She felt like she was being tricked. The marriage certificate was obtained hastily. Well, I only found out a week ago. I was kept in the dark before. Last time I acted crazy at school. My mother asked me to do that in order to keep them away from me. I'm afraid of losing you. After I found out about this that day, I started to run my own business. I had a shopping mall before. Because I invested in the dividend internet project, it is now in full swing. I wanted to find a chance to tell you. I'm really too busy recently. There will be a bidding meeting tomorrow daytime. Many people want to come to discuss cooperation with us. I can make time after tomorrow. I don't want to lose you, and I don't want to hide it from you. What do you think? Lin Qing said a lot in one breath, with a sincere look and a hint of panic. Sirona was silent. 4 years ago, when she heard her father say that he wanted to marry the Lin family, she cried for a whole week at the age of 12. She didn't want to marry a man who had nothing to do with her. Under the persuasion of her parents, she was sent to Qingliu City and met Lin Qing at that time. At that time, the parents of both parties made an engagement. When they first met, Lin Qing, who was wearing earrings and smoking, scared her. He also used a lighter to light her favorite black lace dress at that time. The 4 years that became worse and worse afterwards can be said to be the most painful year in her life. She wanted to go home many times and tell her father. But every time she saw her father's old body, her heart was broken. Thinking that it didn't matter who she lived with in this life, as long as she had the elf to accompany her, she lived like this for many years. But just this month, Shirona's originally dim life actually had a glimmer of light because of Lin Qing now. But this happy life has just begun, and she was told that the other party was not the object of her engagement. How could she accept this? If the matter was exposed, then will she be betrothed to Lin Baiwei, the eldest son of the Lin family, like an object? If so, she would rather die. Thinking of this, Sirona no longer wanted to think about it. With a lonely look in her eyes, she hugged Lin Qing directly, and Lin Qing looked at her with a choked face. Gently stroking her hair, it seemed that he could clearly feel the other's heartbeat and the sweet smell. She seemed to be shaking. Baozi, are you okay? Lin Qing asked with some concern, looking at Sirona who had not spoken for a long time, and sighed helplessly. It's so noisy. Your heartbeat is so noisy. Sirona suddenly yelled loudly, scaring Lin Qing. Asshole, what do you want me to do? We have already obtained the marriage certificate and I am yours. I will go to his family for an engagement. I don't care. I just want to hug you now and don't want to think about anything. Sirona said with a crying voice and a face full of grievance, as if she had made a decision, with a trace of tears in the corner of her eyes, and her pitiful appearance made Lin Qing feel really distressed. Lin Qing touched her hair with a gentle face and said, "Don't worry, I will protect you. No one can take it away. In a month, I will swallow up Lin Tiancheng's business and become the second partner of your Shiro family. And the last one." Sharona looked at Lin Qing infatuatedly, tears gushed out of her eyes, and she lay in Lin Qing's arms and cried. And the boss of the 4 major families in Qingliu City, Lin Tiancheng, this wronged, slip of the tongue, typo. Lin Tiancheng, a good man, never dreamed that the woman he loved most, his second wife Huo Sha, was actually pregnant with someone else's child. And that fool Lin Qing once wanted to ruin his first wife, Yi Zimei, and now he has become powerful and is trying to acquire the Lin family's business. How much hatred and resentment is this? We don't know, and we don't dare to ask. If Lin Tiancheng knew about this, he would probably die on the spot. If you stand in the perspective of Lin Qing's mother Huo Sha, this Lin Tiancheng deserves it. Huo Sha had been dating her childhood sweetheart for more than 10 years, but this Lin Tiancheng relied on his family's wealth and not only bankrupted her childhood sweetheart's family through business means, but also imprisoned her. When she came out, she was already pregnant with Lin Qing. But who could have thought? The imprisoned Huo Sha was not pregnant with Lin Tiancheng's child. We don't know how he played it. Later, Huo Sha's childhood sweetheart was exiled, and Huo Sha chose to marry Lin Tiancheng, whom she didn't like, because of the pressure from her family and her big belly. And she only found out in recent years that Lin Qing was not Lin Tiancheng's child, even she herself was confused at the time. How is it possible? How is this possible? Could it be that she had it before being imprisoned? And tonight is destined to be another sleepless night. Lin Tiancheng has already ordered that they must invest in the elf trading platform project of Longye shares tomorrow. Get a piece of the pie. Huo Sha has also been thinking about how to transfer her assets. She has been eyeing this Longye shares as soon as it came out. She must win tomorrow's bidding. If her affairs are discovered one day in the future, for the sake of her son's future and marriage, she must set up her own business. Give her son a piece of the sky. Thinking about it, she thought of Lin Qing's father, the silly boy who dreamed of becoming the strongest elf trainer. I don't know how he is doing. Maybe he has married and had children. The next morning, Lin Qing specifically handed over all the matters of the bidding meeting to Ni Union, and he could already pull himself away to do other things. Today I will go to the Pokémon Hunter Center. I will take the Hunter Certificate test. Now it's time to see my personal strength. Lin Qing said seriously. Well, why don't you buy some powerful Pokémons, husband? You should be able to afford a master-level Pokémon, right? Well, I don't like to use other people's Pokémons. I want to have a full dragon lineup, and it's best to cultivate them from childhood, so that I will have a more inseparable bond. The main thing is to cultivate the strength of the dragon god body step by step. Okay, then you go to the Hunter Commission alone, you should pay attention to safety. By the way, lend me your hoo-hoo for a few days. My ugly fish should be evolving into melodic soon. I want to use hoo-hoo's green apricot tree juice to improve its beauty. Well, the school will say that I have something at home, anyway, they won't ask too much. Okay, be safe, dear, I will wait for you to come back no matter how late it is at night. After saying goodbye to Sharona, Lin Qing also brought the round land shark to the Pokémon Hunter Center in Qingliu City. This place is a treasure land for all Pokémon trainers to make money and increase their fame. Not only can you receive many commissions, but you also have the opportunity to enter the Pokémon Secret Realm. It is rumored that various legendary Pokémon often live in the Secret Realm. And Lin Qing naturally came here for the legendary dragon Pokémon. At present, his business empire is running normally, and he will make at least several billion net profits a month. Later, he only needs to fix the bug of the Universal Store and find time to expand the business field. Next, he will consider improving his own strength. At present, he should be the slowest developing among all the time travelers. The round land shark is also in a free-range state. He has been tinkering with money for the past half-month, and it seems that he has done nothing. Now it is almost time to go for training. Before, he was considering whether to form a sandstorm weather team and get a Bangiras to cooperate with the fierce land shark, but his dragon god body would be useless. If the game is full of dragon teams, and 6 dragon slayers merrily come to the opposite side, at that time, they may all die. Of course, that is only in the game. In the real world, Merrily can't beat Rayquaza no matter how awesome she is. We can't just rely on the rigid operation in the game where you hit me and I hit you. If we really fight like that, the silk of the high-level green caterpillar can cause a few damages to Rayquaza. Isn't that nonsense? During these 7 days, Lin Qing has been considering the members of his dragon team. In the later stage, he will naturally go for the legendary beasts, such as Everlasting, Rayquaza, Giratina, Dialga, Latias, etc. In the early stage, Lin Qing already has several intended elves for the dragon type, such as Fangya, which can evolve into Double Axe War Dragon, Baby Dragon, Earth Dragon Desert Dragon, and Fat Dragonite. If he has Earth Dragon Desert Dragon that can fly and Dialga with Steel Dragon attributes, then his Dragon Sandstorm team will be formed. Of course, if he really encounters other good elves, he will naturally collect them for his wife Serona. Although he thinks so, it still depends on luck and opportunity. He has been paying attention to dragon elves in these 7 days. But after so many days of searching, he only found a few dragon-type Thorn Dragon Kings and a dragon-type Shame, the Thorn-Faced Dragon, which were not his favorites. He finally found a Dragonite, but the man refused to sell it. After all, the Pokémon that had accompanied him for half his life was like a family member. Who would sell it? Now Lin Qing has turned his attention to the Pokémon Hunter Center and the Pokémon Secret Realm. He has already placed a commission. If a dragon-type Pokémon such as Baby Dragon and Desert Dragonfly is caught, he is willing to pay 1 billion for one. A few days have passed, and no dragon-type Pokémon has been seen. 2 Pokémon hunters who went to do the commission died. Just as Lin Qing was thinking, the registration for the assessment at the Pokémon Hunter Center began. Please bring your Pokémon to the registration office. The Pokémon Hunter assessment will begin soon. The exam time is 2 hours. Please be prepared. Lin Qing looked at the long queue of registration people over there and sighed silently. It was a beautiful idea. For now, he should improve the strength of the round land shark first, otherwise he would be a waste if he really encountered a dragon-type beast. After waiting for about 10 minutes, Lin Qing also received his exam commission. Elf Hunter Center Assessment Commission. Commission Level D. Commission Content. Go to the orchard in the southern suburbs of Qingliu City to drive away the unicorn swarm. Commission Reward. 50,000 Alliance Coins, 10 Hunter Reputation Points. After receiving the task, Lin Qing ran directly to the door of the Elf Hunter Center, called a doodly special car, and rushed directly to the southern suburbs. The other candidates in the Elf Hunter Center looked at Lin Qing, who was going away, as if he was a fool. None of them went out alone to do commissions. In their eyes, Lin Qing was looking for death. In this continent, the city and the wild are completely 2 worlds. Some wild Bobo and Lada in the city are actually very weak, because the elves that threaten people's safety are taken to the wild by the police and the 3 heroes of Qingliu. The survival of elves in the wild is extremely cruel. The law of the jungle, the struggle for patriarchs, the struggle for mating rights, etc., which is almost the same as the ecological chain on Earth. Ordinary people without elves hardly dare to go out of the city alone, especially to the forest and the mountains, that would be courting death. Someone once saw several adventurers being pecked by a group of toucans until only skeletons were left. Because some elves are carnivorous. Hey, another fool who doesn't know how high the sky is. The aggressiveness of elves in the city is completely different from that in the wild. If you receive a mission from a swarm of insects or birds, you will most likely encounter the leader of the tribe. No one will care if you die in the wild. Forget it, there are such fools every day. Is there anyone going to the east coast of the city to do a commission assessment? I have an ordinary level Bulbasaur. The commission is to drive away the giant crab. Take me with you. I'm going there to protect the fleet. The assessment time is 2 hours. If you can successfully complete the commission and get the client to sign for you, you will pass. While these people were still looking for companions to form a team, Lin Qing had already arrived at the orchard. Hello, an elf hunter who came to drive away the swarm of insects. Lin Qing shouted loudly at the door of the orchard, and the uncle inside ran out excitedly after hearing the voice. Ha ha ha, great, I've been waiting for a few days. Someone finally came. These hornworms and giant bees are annoying me to death. I dare not go out. Lin Qing was also a little surprised when he looked at the uncle wearing a blue protective suit inside. He was wearing a helmet and holding a huge iron pot cover as a shield. There was also a Nidorino behind him looking around with a vigilant face. Huh, just you. When the uncle came out, he looked at Lin Qing, who was alone, with a confused look on his face, and he was unhappy at the time. Well, I'll just be by myself. Get lost. Go back where you came from. You idiot, are you trying to trick me to death? You're a rookie without even a hunter badge, and you're here to take the exam. You're just filling in the gaps. Do you want to die in my orchard today? How can I sell you then? Get lost. Get lost. Ah, what the hell? Lin Qing, looking confused, looked at the uncle holding the pot lid and trying to close the door. He was also panicking. The client didn't even let you in. Isn't that nonsense? Nido. At this moment, Nidalino behind him seemed to have noticed something and started to roar with his teeth bared. The uncle was so scared that he immediately pulled Lin Qing in. Then he wanted to go back to his room. But it was too late. There were already more than a dozen hornworms and 3 giant beepers behind them. The highest level of giant beepers was already a low-level elite. If it were someone else, they would be crippled if not dead, that's for sure. No wonder the uncle was so panicked. Lin Qing let out Little Shark calmly, and then he asked the uncle to stay inside. Little Shark, kill those 3 giant bees first. Don't kill them, they're all money. Shark. Chapter 51. In just a moment, Xiaoxia released the weather skill Sandstorm, and then took advantage of the effect of the sandstorm weather to create a quicksand hell. In an instant, the unicorn beetle on the ground was buried alive, and the 3 giant bees scurried away frantically, and their wings were directly entangled by the quicksand hell. Not long after, the 3 giant bees suffocated by Xiaoxia's quicksand hell. A total of 15 unicorn beetles and 3 giant bees were collected by Lin Qing into the Pokeball. Then the uncle gave Lin Qing an extra 10,000 alliance coins. He signed the commission completion confirmation letter for him, because he just scolded too badly. The uncle took a few more tree fruits and apologized with an embarrassed face. When Lin Qing rode the Doodly special car back to the Pokemon Hunter Center, there were still a small number of people who had not set off. They did not find suitable teammates, and they did not dare to take risks. When Lin Qing just came in, several people noticed him and said in disbelief. Really, you're back now? You're back in half an hour. It's only half an hour to go back and forth, you're cheating, right? Did you pay for help? You must have paid for other powerful helpers, maybe blue-level hunters. Haha, how long can he be proud of hiring helpers? I despise this kind of rubbish the most, thinking that they are great just because they have a few stinky money. Stop talking, there's still an hour and a half left for the assessment, hurry up and find teammates. Lin Qing also completed the assessment and successfully obtained the white badge of the elf hunter. This elf hunter is also divided into levels. 100 reputation value white badge. 1000 reputation value green badge. 1000 reputation value blue badge. 10,000 reputation value purple badge. 100,000 reputation value black badge. 3 million reputation value gold badge. There are 6 levels in total. AD level commission rewards 10 reputation points, AC level commission rewards 100 reputation points, AB level is 1000, an A level is 10,000, and an S level commission rewards 100,000 reputation points. If you get a gold badge, you can form your own private guard team like the 3 heroes of Qingliu. And these powerful and famous people will also be invited by the Alliance to serve as important officials. Then Lin Qing took his badge to the commission bulletin board and began to search for the next target. He wanted to take more commissions to make Xiaoxia as practical as possible. While improving strength and reputation, you should also pay attention to dragon elves. While Lin Qing was alone outside to accept commissions and train, his Longye Company, Limited, today's investment promotion meeting for the online elf free trading platform project was also held as scheduled in the group building of Longye Company, Limited. The main person in charge is Ni Union, who has served as an executive director. At the beginning, this woman thought that Lin Qing was just a small shareholder and the company had other major shareholders. Later, she found out that the company was owned by him alone. She was so surprised that her jaw dropped. And the implementation plan that Lin Qing gave her later made her unable to recover for a long time. The real meaning of this investment promotion conference was not to seek shareholders. The real purpose was to acquire those small companies with potential, and then use the small companies to swallow up the enterprises of the 4 major families, the Lin family, and give all the risks to the small companies. At that time, Ni Yunyan couldn't see through this Mr. Lin. How could his family eat his family? Could it be, the son eats his father with boundless power? Yesterday, Lin Qing also told Ni Yunyan that if a woman named Huo Sha came today and she bought shares, we will give her as much as she invests. And it's done behind the scenes. Ni Yunyan also quickly sorted out her thoughts. Some things are seen through but not spoken, and the circle is too chaotic. She thought that Huo Sha must be Lin Qing's stepmother. Lin Qing wanted to be with this woman privately, and then eat up his father Lin Tiancheng's property. First it was the underage Sharona, and then the stepmother of the queen. After Ni Yunyan figured it out, she had only one thought: it's really messy. It's really exciting. Excuse me. Okay, now, please allow me to introduce the investment project of the Elf Free Trading Platform of Longye Company, Limited. As the host began to explain on the stage, the crowd below also quieted down. All the people from the 4 major families came. As long as they can be divided into a sub-project, such as the express delivery project of the online elf trading platform, the online exchange project of elves, etc., it will definitely be a big profit. Lin Qing's mother Huo Sha also came today. She has a total of 2 billion alliance coins. She has sold her subsidiary under the Lin family. Lin Tiancheng didn't come today, but Yizime came, and Yizime had persuaded Lin Tiancheng to write her name on the bid or something today. As for how to persuade Lin Tiancheng, it was naturally through her. It was Amy Yip's unique skills in bed that convinced him, and she also got 20 billion in funds. Hey, isn't this Sister Huo Sha? Why are you here to join in the fun? The master didn't ask you to come. Amy Yip had already seen Huo Sha and sneered with contempt. Because she knew that Huo Sha had just sold her company, she had no more cards. Huo Sha was also a person who would not suffer a loss with words. She looked at the head of the Yi family next to her, and then looked at Amy Yip, and said with contempt, "Haha. I'm here today to see for the master whether the eldest lady of the Lin family will take the master's money and go back to her parents' home to visit her brother who is short of money." Amy Yip was annoyed at the time, but she quickly calmed down. There were many people here, and she couldn't lose face in front of Longye Company, Limited. Just like this, an hour passed quickly. The people from the 4 major families were all dumbfounded. In this hour, not even one person served tea and water, but those unknown small companies. Like the small company Jingdong Mall that specializes in selling elf electrical appliances, and the Pikachu Live broadcast platform, these inconspicuous companies were all acquired by Longye Company, Limited. Yizime also felt that something was wrong. Something is wrong. Aren't they recruiting shareholders? Why are they starting to acquire these unknown small companies? Then what are we? What are we doing here? Just then, Ni Yunyan on the stage spoke. I'm sorry, it seems that our Longye Company, Limited is not in the eyes of some large companies. If it's just a few 100 billion, then we don't plan to cooperate. Today's meeting ends here. Quote ? Yizime looked puzzled. Did this mean to call her, Yizime, over, slap her in the face, and then drive her away? Haha, how dare you? A small emerging company suddenly dares to point a knife at our Lin family. Amy Yip, will definitely make the old man behind you regret it. Everyone, please go back. Ni Yunyan waved her hand directly, and then hinted to the 2 men next to her to keep Huo Sha. Then Huo Sha followed Ni Yunyan to the office with some caution. Mr. Huo, sign it. This is the transfer agreement of our company's shares. You will own 10% of Longye shares in the future. Quote. Huo Sha was a little wary. How could such a good thing happen? Please sign it. Our boss has specifically told us that if you come, we must give you so much. It seems that we wanted to sell it to you at a low price before, but later we thought it was unnecessary, so we just gave it to you directly. Ni Yunyan said respectfully. If this woman signed, she would be their second largest shareholder and second in command in the future. However, Huo Sha, who has always been cautious, felt uneasy. Such good things often come at a great price. Could it be because he wanted to get her? Excuse me, is your boss a man or a woman? What's his name? Our boss won't let me tell you. He said it would be better if you don't know. Please rest assured that we will keep it a secret for you. Through the company level. Huo Sha thought about it. Could it be that someone really liked her? Could it be someone from a family or alliance? Such a big courage. There is only this possibility. Huosha sighed silently and picked up the pen. And Lin Qing, who just got the white badge today, has broken the record of the Elf Hunter Center. Upgraded from white to blue in one day. More than 200 elves were caught in the commission. The elf hunters around were itching to see it. Oh my god, don't play like this. Who said that someone paid for help before? He is now a blue hunter. I still have to wait for the makeup exam. Ah, don't judge a person by appearance. Don't judge a person by appearance. Maybe he has a mythical beast. I wonder if he has a girlfriend. I think she is in her teens or 20s. Forget it, sister. The oil on your face is dripping down every day. You can even cook. A group of people were talking, and Lin Qing ignored them completely. He could now look at higher level commissions. These elves caught in commissions can be sold on their online trading platform later. Now he has the authority to look at B-level commissions. Just as he opened the commission taskbar on his computer, he was attracted by a commission. B-level commission. Commission content. Go to the small secret realm on Qingliu Mountain to obtain 3 moonlight grasses. Reward. 300,000 alliance coins. Reputation. 1,000. The Pokémon secret realm. It is said that once it appears, it will last for a week. There are countless natural treasures inside, and there are also legendary Pokémons living inside. To enter the secret realm, you must either be a Pokémon hunter or a member of the Alliance. Ordinary people will not let you in case you are a member of Team Rocket. If you are lucky, you may become rich overnight. There was once a trainer who captured a shiny Gengar in the Ghost Secret Realm, and that Gengar also gave him a treasure chest that he had treasured for many years, which was full of spoils collected by it for many years. He became rich overnight. Lin Qing was naturally not interested in natural treasures. His universal store had everything. What he wanted was the best Pokémons. After receiving the commission and obtaining the license, Lin Qing first came to the human item store to purchase some materials. Going there without any preparation would be a death wish. Half an hour later, Lin Qing walked out of the human equipment store. Looking at the outdoor equipment slowly filling his backpack, he felt much more at ease. Gas masks, antidotes, anesthesia relievers, stimulants, riveted boots, waterproof backpacks, compressed biscuits, folding army knives, flashlights, GPS, first aid kits, binoculars, water bottles, diving masks, etc. He thought of everything he could think of. If you run into trouble once you enter, you have to go to the Universal Store to find it, which is too slow. It is better to carry it with you directly. Wasting a few seconds in the wild may kill you. At 6 o'clock in the evening, Lin Qing also came to the entrance of the small secret realm guarded by a team of Alliance law enforcement officers. After Lin Qing showed them the Blue Elf Hunter badge, the other party was also stunned. Are you sure? According to the rules, you can enter. But are you sure you can enter alone? This is a secret realm. People die every day. It's not a joke. Well, I'm sure. The Alliance law enforcement officer behind him was silent. I really don't know what's wrong with young people nowadays. They want to get rich overnight and don't even want their lives. Go in, this secret realm will be closed for 3 days. If you don't come out by then, who knows where you will be teleported to. The Alliance won't send anyone to rescue you if you are alone. Remember that. Okay, although that person had a bad attitude, Lin Qing also knew a lot of information. After entering this secret realm, Lin Qing directly released Xiaoxia, and then Lin Qing also put on a gas mask. The entrance of this place is like a cave, dark and long, and there seems to be a ray of light not far ahead. Lin Qing walked over with Xiaoxia with a solemn face. When they came out of this cave, a cave like a paradise appeared, now in front of them. There are Pidgeots flying in the sky. At the entrance is a grassland and then a river, and further in is a towering mountain. It looks like the main body is this mountain. Little shark, be careful, this place is very dangerous. Lin Qing reminded on the side and looked at the cave entrance with a telescope. This place should have been visited by 3 waves of people before. Some places clearly have traces of fighting, and some people are injured. Fragments of clothes are hanging on the trees and floating in the wind. Lin Qing went forward all the way, killed 2 elite-level spoon snakes and an elite-level aber monster, and came to the foot of the mountain. Shark, little shark called out, and Lin Qing also heard it. There was a group of people in the cave at the foot of the mountain. They seemed to be elf hunters, and they seemed to be resting there. From their tone, it seemed that there was a master-level Nidoqueen entrenched in the mountain, and they were coming for the Nidoqueen's Pokémon egg. If there were many eggs in the nest, they could sell for millions. Lin Qing naturally didn't want to negotiate with them, so he put the little shark away directly. He was not stupid enough to take the little shark with him to seek death. In a place like the Secret Realm, others would kill you directly if they saw you were a quasi-god, and take your Pokémon to sell for money, without anyone knowing. After putting away the little shark, Lin Qing went straight to the back of the mountain, but when he went around the side of the mountain, he suddenly found that there was a barrier in front of him, blocking him. And this small secret realm seemed to be only as big as the distance from his back to the entrance, with only a small hill and then nothing. Behind this barrier, Lin Qing was a little surprised and reached out to touch it. It was like a layer of glass, and he couldn't get through it at all. But just when he wanted to leave, his right hand actually reached in. Lin Qing didn't care whether he could get out or not, he just walked in, and he was stunned when he came in. Flying in the sky, running on the ground, swimming in the river, this is a huge cave that is many times larger than the small earth mountain just now. Just when Lin Qing was a little dazed, there were suddenly bursts of dragon roars in the sky in the distance. Lin Qing looked up and laughed directly. Is it taking off? Charizard vs. Dragonite. Lin Qing took a telescope and looked at the two elves fighting in the sky. He was shocked. He couldn't tell the level of the other party. They were above the master level, or even the gym level, or even higher. Lin Qing swallowed his saliva subconsciously. If he went head-on, it would be GG. Calm down. Now that I'm here, it's impossible to run. Look at the space behind this small secret realm. No one else has been there. There must be top-quality elves. See if there are any dragon cubs or dragon elves, nests. If there are eggs, there must be at least 3 or 4 eggs. Thinking of this, Lin Qing also raised his courage. The timid will starve to death, and the desperate will die of gluttony. With a fierce look in his eyes, he walked towards the woods in front. This forest looks very mysterious, like a magical forest in the west. There are some huge fluorescent mushrooms on the ground, which look extremely charming, and there are a few shuttlecock cottons sleeping on them. There are also luminous grasses on both sides that look like reed forests. They look so beautiful that even Lin Qing couldn't help but take a look. Some huge ancient trees around were like Optimus Prime, reaching straight into the sky, and no one knew how high they were. The trunks were covered with dense vines, and several wood geckos seemed to be carrying some fruits, and there was a lizard king behind them. Lin Qing looked at the surrounding environment and became more careful. He knew that the more beautiful the place, the more deadly it was. He would not attract the attention of other powerful elves in order to capture these elves now, otherwise he might have to run away. Shaw. Just as Lin Qing walked past the fluorescent grass just now, a humanoid elf with green hair emerged from the pile of fluorescent grass. The white skirt fluttered in the wind, and he looked at the people who broke into their homes with a vigilant face, and I don't know what he was thinking. Then he disappeared in an instant. Lin Qing continued to walk forward and came to a river with very turbulent water. There were several Wubo and a cold water monkey next to the river fighting for a fruit that rolled down from the tree. Just as Lin Qing was about to take a step forward, he sensed a hint of danger. A Gyarados suddenly jumped out of the river in front of him, and then used a destructive death ray to shoot directly at the Pokémons fighting for the fruit. The Wooper was unable to dodge and was hit directly. Then the Gyarados swung its tail violently and slapped the fainted Wooper into the air, then rushed up to the sky and bit it before returning to the water again. It only took a few seconds, everything happened too fast. Lin Qing hid in the bushes behind him with a cautious look on his face. The riverside is really full of dangers. I don't know what level the Gyarados is. If he is dragged into the water by the other party, he will definitely die. Thinking of this, Lin Qing subconsciously kept a certain distance from the river. Ah, woo. At this moment, there seemed to be a Pokémon in the bushes not far away making a cry. Lin Qing's DNA exploded directly at that time. Dragon type. It sounds like a cub. Dragon type Pokémon cub. Who could it be? Lin Qing moved towards the bush behind him with anticipation, looking around from time to time to prevent any unusual movements. On a stone platform in front, a group of spoon snakes were surrounding two elves, and a baby dragon was protecting an extremely thin round land shark behind him with anger. Lin Qing was suddenly shocked. How could such proud dragon elves travel together? How could there be such a cub in such a place? Kia. At this time, the group of spoon snakes launched an attack. Judging from the level, one has reached the professional level, and most of the others are elite level, a total of 12. And the baby dragon is only elite level, and the round land shark is ordinary level. Lin Qing looked at the baby dragon with disbelief, as if protecting it. How can it protect at such a young age? Without time to think about it, Lin Qing released the little shark, and the two launched an attack. Lin Qing directly got on the professional level spoon snake and asked the little shark to support the two dragon elf cubs. The moment Xiaoxia came out, he saw the extremely thin round land shark, and it was a female shark. The moment the other party looked up at Xiaoxia, Xiaoxia seemed to think of a certain plot of Hinata in Shippuden. Shark. Xiaoxia jumped up on the spot and used a devastating and enhanced version of Chibaku Tensai. The 12 rice spoon snakes were sucked in like dancing catfish. Lin Qing said directly, "Wow." It was the first time he saw Xiaoxia use this Chibaku Tensai, which was upgraded from the quicksand hell, with all his strength. He was shocked at the time. 4 of the 12 rice spoon snakes died on the spot after being exploded by Chibaku Tensai, and their flesh and blood were blurred. Except for the professional level 1, which still had some consciousness and wanted to escape, it seemed to feel the suppression from its bloodline. Dragons are the masters of all beasts no matter what era. But it really had no strength. Seeing this, Lin Qing unceremoniously used the Pokeball to collect these spoon snakes into the Pokeball. At this time, the little shark was obviously a little exhausted. It seemed to have used a lot of strength in the previous move. Lin Qing was also a little confused. Was it because it was too young and still in the development stage? Maybe it was because the previous move was really too abnormal. It's better to use it less. Lin Qing thought about it and took food to feed the little shark to let it recover its strength. Ah! At this time, the baby dragon cried again, but this time the cry seemed a little different, as if calling for help. At that time, Lin Qing swallowed subconsciously, because he had seen the huge Tyrannosaurus in the sky looking at him angrily. The Tyrannosaurus looked at its son, then at the human, and at the corpses of the surrounding snakes. It was furious at the time, thinking that the man was here to subdue its son. It opened its mouth wide and a devastating jet of flames fell directly from the sky. "You, listen to me." Lin Qing pulled the shark's arm and turned around to run away. He was definitely not going to win. At this time, the Tyrannosaurus seemed to be getting excited. It rushed directly in the sky, headbutted, and slammed into Lin Qing's front. The impact was extremely terrifying. If Lin Qing hadn't been quick-eyed and quick-handed to dodge it, the book would probably have ended. Then when the Tyrannosaurus was about to release another devastating jet of flames in the direction of Lin Qing, the baby dragon behind it let out a somewhat childish howl again. "Ah, woo." The Tyrannosaurus stopped attacking hesitantly and returned to its child. "I'm scared to death, this is at least gym level." Lin Qing was still panting, not knowing that the traitorous little shark had already run to the weak female round land shark. He was biting a yellow chrysanthemum torn from the head of the shuttlecock flower next to him, and flirting with the female round land shark. "Are you a dog?" But Lin Qing didn't dare to scold the old six. The Tyrannosaurus was still listening to what its son was saying. Lin Qing was also nervous. "This Sirona hasn't given birth to my child yet. If I die here," he silently said in his heart, system, where are you? I'm going to die." The system couldn't be scolded no matter how hard he tried. It seemed that it was resentful of Lin Qing for complaining about it before. Lin Qing also laughed. At this moment, the Tyrannosaurus that almost sent Lin Qing to the underworld to drink boiled water looked at Lin Qing, and then looked at the fire-breathing dragon that flew back in the sky. He suddenly flapped his wings and flew back to the sky to fight. Lin Qing also breathed a sigh of relief, and then cursed in his heart, "I saved your son, and you still want to mess with me. Then it should be reasonable for me to subdue it, right? I think it's right." So Lin Qing planned to sneak attack the two dragon elf cubs. At this moment, the little shark next to him wrote 2 words on the ground and pointed at Lin Qing. Lin Qing looked at it subconsciously. The 2 big words, "dying," on the ground made Lin Qing look annoyed. "You fool, what are you doing?" I was almost killed in seconds, and you are here to flirt with girls. At this moment, the little shark made a gesture of silence, and then asked Lin Qing to follow the two dragon cubs in front who were walking towards the cave. Lin Qing subconsciously looked at the distance and saw that there was indeed a huge cave, and there was no grass around. It was obviously burned by flames. This should be the nest of dragon elves. Lin Qing subconsciously followed the little shark. It stands to reason that he would be very excited to encounter the nest of dragons. But as he breathed the air here and looked at this scene, he always felt a sense of desolation and loneliness. Is it an illusion? Or what's going on? Lin Qing followed them into the somewhat dilapidated cave, and as soon as he entered, he saw a huge figure collapsed on the side. Is this land shark? Lin Qing looked at the purple figure with a look of surprise, but he always felt that something was wrong. Why did this dragon king with a strong sense of territory in the wild not react to a stranger like him? The little round land shark spit out a fruit from its mouth with a concerned look, put it on the mouth of the land shark, and murmured. At this moment, the flower in the little shark's hand also fell to the ground, looking at the other side with a dull face. Lin Qing realized that something was wrong, and he took off his gas mask to see what was going on. But the moment he took off the gas mask, an extremely pungent smell came towards him, a disgusting smell of rotten meat. Dead, dead. Lin Qing looked at the dead land shark with some fear, and then looked at the little round land shark that kept rubbing its body against its mother. Lin Qing was silent. Judging from the degree of decay, this land shark had been dead for a long time and was almost a mummy. Could it be that this little round land shark was besieged by the group of spoon snakes because it went out to find fruit for its mother? At this time, the baby dragon seemed to be saying something to the little shark. The little shark looked at the extremely weak round land shark with an unbearable look, and it turned to look at Lin Qing. Then it took a branch and wrote to Lin Qing on the ground. A long time ago, this land shark brought its daughter here to find something, and at that time, the land shark seemed to be seriously injured by an unknown elf with black energy when it went out. From then on, the life of the land shark began to pass away, and the little round land shark did not know what this meant. It just thought that its mother was sick and would be fine in a few days. Every day it brought food to its mother in the cave. By chance, it met this baby dragon, which also came here with its father, as if it was looking for something that could make the dragon elves surpass their limits. Almost every dragon-type elf flocked here, wanting to break through that layer of shackles. Many elves, both dragons and non-dragons, came here. And not long ago, that thing seemed to be taken away by a black fire-breathing dragon that could super-evolve on its own, and the elves gathered here began to disperse. The baby dragon, who was originally going to leave here with his father, saw this round land shark, and out of sympathy, the baby dragon wanted to take it away. But this little round land shark, in addition to finding food outside and bringing it back every day, almost stayed with his dead mother. This guarding lasted for an unknown number of days. And this little round land shark hardly eats anything, it leaves all the food it can eat to its mother, so it is extremely thin now. And the father of the baby dragon, the Tyrannosaurus, was originally a dragon-type overlord with a strong sense of territory, especially since its son is still here. As long as it is around this cave, it will fight to the death with all the Pokémons that want to approach it. The little shark couldn't write any more after writing this. It ran to Lin Qing with a sad face and stretched out its hand. Lin Qing understood and exchanged a bunch of food from the universal store and put it in front of the little round land shark. When the little round land shark saw the food, there seemed to be light in its eyes. Its stomach growled as it took a piece of food and put it in the mouth of the dead fierce-bite land shark. It kept growling there. I don't know how long it took. The baby dragon looked at Lin Qing, then at the little shark, thinking about something. The little shark understood and walked directly to the round land shark and started talking. His expression was a little flustered, and his cautious look made Lin Qing feel a little lonely. Was he a little? Then the baby dragon nodded at Lin Qing and used its thick head to touch the Pokeball on Lin Qing's waist, hinting. Lin Qing smiled bitterly 3 times and put the round land shark, which had been crying loudly because of the little shark, into the Pokeball. If he didn't take it away, I don't know how long it would guard its mother's body, and it probably wouldn't live long. At this time, the Tyranitar turned back again, and it howled at the Charizard that was beaten away in the sky with a smug look on its face. It was ridiculous that a newly evolved Charizard wanted to occupy this cave. After returning to the cave, the baby dragon was talking to its father, and there seemed to be some tenderness in its eyes. Tyranitar understood, and used a jet of flame to burn the fiery land shark that should have been cremated long ago. If it was not dealt with in such a place, it would be pecked by those Pokémons who eat carrion, and it was horrible. Then Lin Qing also said goodbye to them, and planned to leave with the little shark, feeling a sense of emotion in his heart. It seemed that this incident had caused a slight change in his mentality. But just when Lin Qing was about to reach the cave entrance, the baby dragon suddenly rushed over, hit the Pokeball on Lin Qing's waist, and went in by itself. Just when Lin Qing was a little confused, the dragon behind him suddenly flapped its wings and flew into the air. Looking at Lin Qing with a determined face, it felt that this human seemed to be a little special, and it seemed to be able to vaguely see the dragon breath emanating from him. It had only seen two people with this kind of breath in its life. One was a red-haired young man riding a dragonite, and the other was the human in front of it. If its son followed him, he might also be able to break through to that level. It may not be able to make any more progress in this life after reaching the gym level, and it may die of aging in many years, but if its son followed this man with dragon breath, maybe in the future. Thinking of this, the dragon head of the dragon did not turn back, and suddenly flapped its wings and flew away at a high speed. Lin Qing smiled bitterly 3 times. He knew that the other party had entrusted his son to him, and he had just wanted to give up. Maybe there is a destiny in the dark. At this time, the little shark began to be unhappy. Lin Qing looked at the little shark, who was screaming with a look of surprise, and he didn't understand why. Then he saw little shark writing angrily on the ground, "You let that fool go. He also has a crush on Zhao Hong. Hurry up, he is worried about Zhao Hong. Come and snatch her from me." Lin Qing was confused. Zhao Hong, the weak round land shark just now. Are they arguing now? Shark, bye. Little shark shouted loudly, and then wrote 2 huge words, "Release." Lin Qing smiled, a very cold smile. Just when I was being beaten by its father, the flying dragon, you still went to pick up girls. She came to me with her wife. What's your business? It's not an exaggeration to say that they are childhood sweethearts. Why are you joining in the fun? Lin Qing tilted his mouth to look at the grinning little shark and said, "Do you still want to be a mistress? How about we change our names? Don't call me little shark, call me a mistress. Release me. I'm afraid you've eaten too much shit. Silly, bye." Little shark's words were extremely clear this time, and Lin Qing knew from the other party's expression that the Daomao who wanted to be a mistress was indeed scolding him. Then he took out a Pokeball with a smirk on his face, put it in directly, and then he didn't know where he found the tape, just 3 circles left and 3 circles right to wrap the Pokeball several times. Then Lin Qing smiled with an extremely cold face and said, "Son thief. Dare to scold me. What can you do? When I go back tonight, I will let Zhao Hong and Baby Dragon sleep in the same Pokeball, hee. Hold a wedding for them in 2 days." The Pokeball of Little Shark shook left and right but couldn't come out, as if protesting silently. Lin Qing didn't care about this idiot who watched too many web dramas. Looking at all the elves, which elf dared to call his master a fool for being a mistress? He was the only one who chose this round land shark at the beginning. He should have chosen a well-behaved mini dragon earlier. Lin Qing, who was very angry with the little shark, was also panting. He looked at the time. It seemed that half a day had passed since he came in. Thinking about whether to continue searching in this place or leave, he also took out the GPS. Lin Qing was also numb when he looked at the compass that was spinning rapidly and the GPS with garbled characters all over the screen. For safety reasons, it's better to go back. This elf's secret realm will be closed in 2 days. If you go out at that time, you don't know what trouble will happen. So Lin Qing chose to return the same way. He had already collected 2 dragon elf cubs, so what else could he think of? This was already a dog shit luck. On the way, he saw the river where Gyarados suddenly appeared when he came here before, and he subconsciously hid. Some bloodthirsty Pokémons are extremely dangerous in the wild. After killing 2 Kumbakarns without any danger along the way, he returned to where he came from as usual. Just as he walked out of the barrier, he saw a group of Pokémon hunters fleeing in front of him. Aren't these the ones he saw when he came in before? a group of people who wanted to steal the Pokémon egg of the Master Nidoqueen living in the cave. It should have failed. 3 Nidoqueens and a Nidoking were chasing this group of people with angry faces, and there was a group of Nidorino and Nidorina behind them. Obviously a huge tribe. Help! Someone save me! Ah! Farfetch'd! Run! Iron Mountain! Save me! Save me! Don't leave me! Lin Qing hid aside and watched the group of hunters fleeing to the entrance of the secret realm. The herds of beasts behind were also chasing them there. This was a problem. If he wanted to get out, he had to pass through Nidoking's herd, and he couldn't tell the level of that Nidoking. That's why he was unsure. Can't take risks. Just as Lin Qing was thinking, some of the hunters had already escaped from the entrance of the secret realm. Only the woman who just shouted for help was left. Her boyfriend Tishan finally chose to abandon her. The woman was completely desperate. Her Farfetch'd had been drilled into 2 pieces by the terrifying Nidoking with a horn drill. The exit in front was also blocked by the terrifying Nidoking. It was as difficult as ascending to heaven to get through. The woman was so scared that she was paralyzed. The angry beasts around her seemed to want to skin her alive and surrounded her. For the elves in the wild, anyone who invaded other people's nests and wanted to steal their elf eggs and cubs would be hunted down to death. Only by killing the other party could they vent their hatred. It was obvious that this woman was about to be besieged to death. Today was her first time to go to the secret realm. She didn't expect that when she was escaping just now, she kindly helped her boyfriend Tishan block the attack with Farfetch'd, but her boyfriend actually abandoned her. Didn't he even think of saving her? He left the secret realm without looking back. Just when the woman closed her eyes and prepared to die, a strange phenomenon occurred, and a lot of floating sand and stones appeared in the air. A man stretched out his hands with a nervous look on his face, as if he was releasing some decisive moves. In an instant, a strong sandstorm enveloped the herd. Lin Qing didn't dare to think about it, and directly activated the ramming skill to accelerate, releasing it 3 times in a row. The vibration sound caused by the ramming in the air was like a dragon's heartbeat, rising and falling. The woman covered by the sandstorm suddenly felt that someone was holding her waist, and then she jumped and rushed towards the Nidoking. A line between life and death. Lin Qing directly released a quicksand hell, and the moment the Nidoking was trapped, it shook lightly and untied the quicksand hell. But when it came to its senses, the woman and the man who could release the sandstorm were gone. At the entrance of the secret realm, a group of elf hunters were blaming each other, as if someone had disturbed the Nidoking, which caused them to fail. But soon the group of people were driven away by the Alliance law enforcement team guarding the secret realm, and they were told to go somewhere else to make trouble. The man named Tishan looked back at the entrance of the secret realm and said indignantly, "Stupid woman, if you weren't so clumsy, I might have succeeded. Don't blame me. It's your bad luck." Then the man released his professional level toucan and headed directly towards Qingliu City. Not long after these elf hunters left, Lin Qing rushed out holding the woman. The rescued woman seemed to be dreaming, looking at the man with a gas mask with gratitude and saying, Thank you. My name is Tang Yuehua, I will repay you." After Lin Qing put her down, he was also relieved, took off the gas mask and wanted to leave. "Wait, can you leave me your phone number? Or your social account?" The woman behind directly grabbed Lin Qing in front and looked at him pleadingly. Lin Qing looked at Tang Yuehua, who was wearing the school uniform of the Pokémon Academy, and shook his head helplessly. "It's okay, I don't want anything from you. I saw my alumni in trouble, so it's just a small favor. I want to go back." "School, alumni," Tang Yuehua said in surprise. Just when she wanted to ask which class the other party was from, the other party had already disappeared. "In order to save me, the man who physically fought against the master-level Nidoking." And Lin Qing, who had already taken a taxi, could finally take a nap. A few minutes later, Lin Qing looked at the 2 new dragon-type Pokémon he had received, and was also very pleased. Baby Dragon, a stone Pokémon who desperately wants to fly into the sky and often hits stones with his head. Qualification: High-level Elite. Features: Hard Head. Skills: Spark, Stare, Bite, Dragon Claw, Head Hammer, Dragon Breath. Features: Hard Head, will not be damaged by any reaction force generated by its own attack. Evolution: Carapace Dragon, Tyrannosaurus, Super Tyrannosaurus. The other round land shark, Zhao Hong, is a high-level ordinary level, with the feature of sand hiding, and the level is lower than that of the little shark. The reason is that it has been extremely malnourished recently. If it is taken back and properly nursed, it is very likely to enter the elite level directly. And this Zhao Hong, Lin Qing plans to give it to Sharona. He believes that Sharona will definitely treat it well, or will be better at cultivating round land sharks than Lin Qing. Looking at the time, it will be dawn soon. After thinking about it, I decided to find a place to eat, and then go to school to sit and relax today. After arriving at the restaurant, Lin Qing released the little shark that had always wanted to come out. As soon as the little shark came out, it screamed and Lin Qing punched it with an angry face. It's been a whole night. It's dawn, and you're screaming. Don't disturb me eating soy milk. The little shark looked annoyed, and it signaled Lin Qing to let Xiao Hong out, and it wanted to comfort Xiao Hong. Lin Qing didn't even hold it in his mouth, and said while eating a bun, I'll go to school and give Xiao Hong to Sharona. I'm afraid you and Baby Dragon will fight every day if you keep it with me. Shark. When the little shark heard that Lin Qing was going to give its first love Xiao Hong to Sharona, it was not happy at the time, and directly tried to grab Xiao Hong's Pokeball from Lin Qing's waist. Lin Qing, who was drinking soy milk, looked at the little shark who actually wanted to take his Pokeball, and jumped excitedly, and the 100 soy milk was directly spilled, and the soy milk spilled on the little shark's head and on Lin Qing's crotch. In the breakfast shop, one man and one shark, one covering his head and the other covering his crotch, were doing morning exercises. People who didn't know would think that the guys in this breakfast shop were doing square dance to attract customers. Nima, enough. It's scalding me to death. I don't mind if you like her, but you have to do it with your dedication and sincerity, right? You're just grabbing her Pokeball, you'll scare it, it just left its mother. You don't let her calm down, you want to release it to take advantage of her. Baby Dragon is not the same species as her, what are you afraid of? Shark. After hearing Lin Qing's analysis, the little shark seemed to have found some confidence. But Lin Qing forgot one thing. Pokémon don't have to be of the same species to reproduce, as long as the egg group is of the same breed, they can reproduce. And the dragon egg group is even more interesting, because the dragon species was very promiscuous in ancient times, and many Pokémon of other breeds have dragon blood. Like Tanabata Bluebird, Lizard King, Tortoise Blast, Melodic, Gyarados, Tyrannosaurus, and Garchomp all belong to the dragon egg group. I don't know which dragon it was in ancient times, from birds in the sky to fish in the sea, even all turtles have dragon blood. I don't know if this powerful genetic ability will also affect Lin Qing's dragon body. Otherwise, it would be interesting. Let's get back to the topic. After eating, Lin Qing wanted to go back to school. He was thinking about how to give Sharona a surprise later. Little did he know that he had been followed by someone. Tang Yuehua, who was rescued by him from the secret realm, heard Lin Qing say that she was her schoolmate, looked at the time, and came to the school gate to block him without going home. It was a coincidence that Lin Qing, who had skipped classes for a week, was followed by someone after finally returning to school. And now there are two more. The two sisters Su Tianyan haven't seen Lin Qing for a long time. When they saw him this morning, they followed him directly. They wanted to find an explanation. And at this time, 5 more talents came. Zhonghu, Wang Chuang and the 5 tigers also saw Lin Qing, and then followed him with excitement. Well, just like this, a large group of people looked at each other from behind, as if everyone had reached a consensus, and followed Lin Qing silently to the first grade teaching building. Lin Qing, who was thinking about how to make his wife Sharona happy, never dreamed that there were more and more people following him. Because the two sisters Su Tianyan were school beauties, they must have many suitors. Some boys who had a crush on the sisters Su Tianyan also followed behind. And Tishan, who abandoned Tang Yuehua, also followed. They wanted to see which class the boy in front was from, so that they could block him after school. A group of people followed Lin Qing to the 6th class of the 1st grade with their own ulterior motives. There was still half an hour before class. Lin Qing, who had just entered the classroom, saw Mary writing something on the blackboard and greeted her awkwardly. Mary looked at the group of people outside the classroom, then looked at Lin Qing, replied, or B, and continued to write something. Just when Lin Qing sat down, several women rushed up like they were grabbing vegetables in the market. I came here first. I have something to say to him. I came here first. It's obviously me. I'm Tang Yuehua, the president of the third-year student union. Who dares to compete with me? Ah, Lin Qing looked at the group of people in confusion. What was going on? At this moment, Zhang Hu and the other 5 directly blocked the door of the class, blocking the men who had a crush on Su Tianyan and her sister, and pulled them into the grove with a playful look on their faces. Lin Qing, you promised us to be our boyfriend, didn't you? Why did you disappear for 10 days? If you do this, my sister and I will not be happy. We want compensation. You have our bodies, don't think you can run away by playing missing. What do you think we should do? Su Qinyan didn't care about the president of the student union, and rushed over directly, asking Lin Qing to give an explanation. What do you want? Lin Qing swallowed nervously and said. Su Qinyan leaned over Lin Qing's ear carefully and said, go to our place tonight. We bought Balenciaga stockings with letter patterns, and Lin Qing's nosebleed was about to burst, and he shook his head frantically, trying to suppress a trace of conscience in his heart. At this moment, a girl in a black windbreaker came over. Her expression was extremely kind, but her hair seemed to be lifted by a cold and murderous aura, floating in the air. Ah, wife, listen to me. Lin Qing looked at herself with embarrassment, and she felt a little numb at the time. Moreover, these 3 girls were dressed more seductively than each other. If a normal person didn't react, he would definitely have a problem with his waist. Ha, so brave. There's another one. Sharona looked at Tang Yuehua with indignation. Tang Yuehua also pretended to be calm. She was the president of the student union. Who was she afraid of in school? A first-year schoolgirl could still turn the world upside down. Just as Tang Yuehua said, I am the president of the third-year student union. Tang, you. Lin Qing stood up extremely flatteringly, including the 2 Vixen sisters, and all of them respectfully let the woman in black take the seat. Wife, I miss you, don't I want to come to school to give you a surprise? Yes, yes, Sister Nana, my sister and I miss you too, and want to give you a surprise. Su Qinyan beside her said nervously, and then took a big bag of snacks and put it on Sarona's seat. Oh, thank you so much, I miss you too. Come to my house tonight, I will treat you well. Sarona said expressionlessly, and then sat in. Tang Yuehua, who was ignored, saw that this woman must be Lin Qing's girlfriend, and she was annoyed at the time. She originally wanted to confess to Lin Qing, because Lin Qing saved her, and she fell in love with the man who carried her out of the beast group. Unexpectedly, he actually had a girlfriend. She wanted to use her name as the president of the student union to give this woman named Sarona a hard blow. And Sarona also felt the hostility of this mature woman. This woman with red hair and a slim cheongsam exuded sexiness and maturity, and there was a student union logo on her sleeves. I wonder what this senior sister wants to do with our Lin Qing. Sarona said calmly, sitting there, looking at Lin Qing from time to time, and her heart was already tearing this stinky man who was flirting with women everywhere. Ha ha, I just heard that there are stubborn students in your class 6 who have ignored school laws and regulations recently and blatantly held hands and hugged in school. Today I just want to see which girls are so indecent. Su Qinyan laughed directly, and was covered by Su Tianyan who was holding back her laughter. That expression seemed to say, look, someone is here to be abused. Sarona was not anxious or annoyed, and silently took out a red notebook from her bag. Then, Sharona slowly opened it and fanned it, saying, oh, it seems a little hot today, as if there is a duck-billed fire dragon roasting us next to us, don't you think so, husband? How could Lin Qing dare to say no? She nodded repeatedly. Tang Yuehua also saw the marriage certificate, and on it were the names of her savior Lin Qing and this woman. Her brain short-circuited at that time. Woohoo, bullying, I won't come again. Then she ran out with a face full of grievance. How could someone get a marriage certificate so early? She felt that she was here to eat the rare dog food. People didn't want to feed her, but she wagged her tail and barked, as if she would bite people if they didn't feed her. It was amazing. It was embarrassing to the town of Junshin. After those people left, the whole morning was calm. Lin Qing pulled Sharona home with a sunny face. Don't think I'm not angry anymore. Tell me who that woman named Tang Yuehua is. Did you not go home last night? Is it to find that woman? Lin Qing did not speak, and pulled Sharona home all the way. His suspicious look made Sharona confused. After returning home, Lin Qing closed the door and directly released the round land shark Zhao Hong. Shark, shark, Sharona was slightly stunned. Little shark. Soon she saw that this round land shark was not a little shark. It seemed that its eyes were kinder than those of the little shark, and its color was darker than that of the little shark. Its name is Zhao Hong. I brought it out of the secret realm last night. The woman today was rescued by me in the secret realm yesterday. She only said one sentence. Sharona was excited and held Zhao Hong for a long time, looking left and right, like a child who had just got her favorite toy. Give it to me. Can it follow me? Sharona said excitedly. What she dreamed of most since she was a child was a round land shark. Now it was right in front of her. How could she not be excited? Yeah, its name is Zhao Hong. It may be malnourished. Just pay attention to your diet. Lin Qing just said that when he saw Sharona take out some Pokémon food from her bag, and then called Huhu over. Lin Qing looked at Huhu in the room with some confusion. Why is there a tall and thin figure behind him? Mianxiao, evolved, OMG, professional level. Lin Qing said in disbelief. Then he heard Zhao Hong scream after eating the food, and her body lit up slightly. After eating 2 bites of food, she advanced to the elite level directly. So fast. Lin Qing looked at Sharona, whose level had surpassed his, with an annoyed look on his face. Is this wife cheating? This Pokémon advanced after eating a bite of food. Ah, Zhao Hong, I am Sharona, and I will be your master from now on. Let us become the strongest dragon-type elves in the world. Sharona held Zhao Hong and happily turned around at home. Shark, shark, Zhao Hong also called out happily, as if she liked her beautiful master very much. But at this moment, the 2 enemies living in Lin Qing's elf ball heard Zhao Hong's cry, and they all jumped out as if they had drunk horse urine. Just when he was about to run to Zhao Hong, he saw his rival on the opposite side. Little Shark hit him hard, and Baby Dragon hit him with a headbutt, and they started fighting at home. What a sin. Sharona was also a little confused as she watched the 2 Pokémons fighting back and forth, while Lin Qing was still in the middle. Nah, enough of you two. Lin Qing held Azure Dragon on the left and White Tiger on the right, pressing one with each hand. Baby Dragon was also very annoyed. It heard Little Shark scolding it in the Pokeball yesterday. Look, they started fighting as soon as they came out. You can't believe that the low-level elite Little Shark didn't lose to the high-level elite Baby Dragon. Just when the 2 enemies were about to release their big skills, a wonderful water Pokémon next to them picked up Little Shark. The people and Pokémons present were all stunned, and Little Shark was also stunned. What's going on? Who is this slippery Pokémon? Ah, when did this melodic like Little Shark? Lin Qing was also confused. He felt that the amount of information today was a bit too much, whether it was in the morning or now, his mind was a bit confused. As for why the melodica Xiaomei fell in love with Xiaoxia, we have to start from the day when Lin Qing wanted to eat carbon pot fish. Didn't Xiaomei, who was still a chow chow fish at that time, say that Lin Qing was ugly? Didn't Lin Qing let Xiaoxia pee in the fish tank of the chow chow fish Xiaomei? Then he was almost sterilized. Didn't Xiaoxia work hard every night to practice the thing? Xiaomei, who had been in the tank, just watched. But it couldn't leave the fish tank, just watched every day and night. We don't know what strange thoughts a fish would have. Who could have thought of it? Sure enough, Wang couldn't think of it. Look, Xiaomei, who had just evolved into Melodica yesterday, wanted to find Xiaoxia, but Xiaoxia was taken to the secret realm by Lin Qing. Melodica, who had been thinking about Xiaoxia for a day, is here now. When Xiaoxia realized that the one who had evolved into Melodica was the chow chow fish, it panicked and looked at Melodic's mouth with extreme fear. It was about to run away at that time. But the Melodica that has evolved to the high-level professional level must be much stronger. That scene, gradually something is wrong. Little Shark screamed in panic. Looking at the baby dragon that had come together with the round shark Zhao Hong, it felt that its life was over. As I said, everything seems to be destined in the dark. Lin Qing was completely speechless. It was really messy. He put them all into the Pokeball with an annoyed look on his face. Honey, is that baby dragon? It looks pretty good. It seems to be evolving. Well, this baby dragon has a relatively stable personality and knows how to protect the weak. It was just stimulated by Little Shark, a little bit crazy. It will probably be fine in a few days. Okay, my Eevee has evolved too. My Eevee has evolved into an ice spirit. It has also reached the high-level professional level, Sharona said excitedly, as if she was showing off to Lin Qing. Lin Qing looked like he had eaten shit, his face was livid. It turned out that even with the golden finger, he couldn't beat Sharona. Isn't this nonsense? And she didn't seem to have any special training. It seems that the elf can upgrade just by drinking water and eating. Hey, it's upgraded. Thinking of this, Lin Qing couldn't sit still anymore. He threw Little Shark and Baby Dragon directly onto the treadmill upstairs. He threatened with a threatening face, "Run for me. 1,000 kilometers each. Who dares to stop? I'll let Zhao Hong sleep with the other one." As soon as this sentence came out, the two elves were like chicken blood, let's see who runs faster. Sharona also put her elf on the first floor for training, keeping a distance from the two enemies upstairs. After Sharona went to school, Lin Qing sat at home with an indignant look on his face and began to search his universal store. Thinking of finding something to upgrade his elf's level, using evolution stones would be a death wish. If his physical fitness and ability were not up to that level, it would only lead to a dead end that he could not break through in the later stage. After looking at it, there was really nothing. Learning new tricks. It could be considered. Later, Lin Qing looked at this 3-bedroom and 1 living room that was built like a doghouse, and then looked at several elves in special training. If he wanted to practice powerful tricks, this room would definitely not be used, and he had to go to the secret realm to subdue other dragons, so he had to think of a way to have the best of both worlds. So Lin Qing sent a message to his secretary Ni Yunyan, saying that he wanted to buy a villa in Qingliu City, the kind with elf training grounds, and an underground training ground would be fine. Half an hour later, Ni Yunyan had already done the job. His efficiency was amazing. When Lin Qing came to the location Ni Yunyan sent him, he had already seen some employees of Longye Company, limited cleaning and decorating the room for him. This Ni Yunyan knows how to handle things. Lin Qing looked at the villa and was quite satisfied. The total area was about 2,000 square meters. After entering the gate of the villa, you will see Avery grand marble pavement, with gardens on both sides. There is a huge Suicune fountain in the middle of the courtyard, and then you can see the 4-story Western-style villa behind it, and there is an open-air swimming pool on the side. And in the basement of this villa is a 1,000 square meter Pokémon training room, which looks a bit like the competition venue of the Pokémon gym, and there are seats around it. Just as Lin Qing was still watching, another car drove over, and a female chef, maid, housekeeper, female bodyguard, almost 20 people all came over in full dress. "Hello, Mr. Lin." A deafening greeting gave Lin Qing goosebumps. What should I do? I'll take a look and leave. Then Lin Qing thought about it and sent a message to Sharona, asking her to move in directly in the evening, otherwise, like Melodic, practicing water skills and superpower skills, that family will be in chaos. Just when Lin Qing wanted to go out, a good-looking young woman said respectfully at the door, "Boss Lin, I'm your driver Xie Wanwan, where do you want to go? I'll drive the car." Elf Hunter Center. Let's go. About a minute later, a top-notch sports car drove out, with 2 people sitting in the car, a female driver and a female housekeeper. They got out of the car respectfully and showed Lin Qing a seat, which made Lin Qing a little uncomfortable. It feels more comfortable to be alone, maybe he is used to being alone. But this Ni Yunyan is really good at handling things, all the women are arranged to come, so that he doesn't have to worry about being cheated when he goes out. "Boss Lin, what are you doing at the Elf Hunter Center? Are you going to place a commission? Just leave it to us, no need to bother." "I'm going to place a commission, just take me back later. It's time to get off work, don't wait for me." This. Boss Ni asked us to follow you 24 hours a day." Xie Wanwan kept winking at Lin Qing as she spoke, as if she was looking at something. Lin Qing then noticed that the housekeeper and the driver in front of him were both wearing super short skirts, so short that they were too short, and there seemed to be a very sweet fragrance in the car. But when he realized that the smell was wrong and the route was wrong, it was too late. Just after Lin Qing fell asleep, the 2 girls covered their mouths with a smirk and said, "Hee, I told you, sister, as long as we dress more seductively, this man will definitely let down his guard." Hee, How could the CEO of Longye Company, Limited be only 18 years old? Does he have any particularly powerful background? I have investigated it clearly, Sister Wenwen. This man is the second son of the Lin family, but he founded this company without telling his father Lin Tiancheng. Hee. So, how can we get him to sponsor us later? This man is unconscious, what should we do next? Hee. Sister, have you ever heard of a trick that is hard to defend against? Honey trap. So the two girls let out the roof of the sports car, locked the doors and windows, and then rushed towards the suburbs of Qingliu City. Sister, have you set up the camera? Okay, hurry up, don't wait to wake him up. Hee, wait for me to put on some makeup, people have to look beautiful even if they are setting up a trap, Xie Wanwan said while putting on some makeup with a makeup mirror. Lin Qing, who had no idea that she had the body of a dragon god, was about to wake up. After putting on some makeup, Xie Wanwan pointed the camera at Lin Qing in the back seat, and then she adjusted the angle and laid the back seat flat, which obviously looked like a bed. Tisk tisk tisk, let's start, don't tell me I'm a little shy, Sister Wenwen. You are shy for no reason. It's not real, okay. If not, I'll do it. Okay, women can't say no, Xie Wanwan said as she lay down directly, and then pulled Lin Qing and pressed him all over her. Lin Qing, who was a little confused, felt as if he was pressed on something soft and fragrant. He subconsciously opened his eyes and saw Sharona holding his hand and putting it somewhere on her. Lin Qing thought he had just woken up. Could it be that he was too busy recently and didn't have love with Nana, so he couldn't hold back? Just then, a car suddenly came in front of him. Xie Wenwen staggered and dodged, cursing with an indignant look, "How do you drive? You scared me to death." The back was in trouble. The two had already kissed. Lin Qing, who thought he was dreaming, mistook the other party for Sharona, and he was confused and pressed on her. In an instant, a wail came from the back seat. Xie Wenwen in front of her said indignantly, "You acted too much like that, didn't you? Tell me honestly, have you learned it? Tisk tisk tisk. It shouldn't be, aren't you a non-Mariagast?" While Xie Wenwen was still talking, Xie Wanwan in the back had lost her temper and wanted to escape in a panic. But Lin Qing, who was already excited, obviously would not let her go, and blocked her mouth in a daze. After about 10 minutes, Xie Wenwen in front finally realized that something was wrong. Why was her voice a little wrong while acting? Why did Wanwan's voice seem to have changed a little? It would have been fine if she didn't turn her head. Once she turned her head, her whole face turned red, instantly. Then with a dwang sound, their car crashed into the electric pole. And it was the impact of the crash that made the confused Lin Qing tremble all over and wake up. But when he saw the woman below, he was numb at that time. Didn't he remember talking about life with his wife Sharona? "Ah, what's wrong with me? Your name is Xie, what's it?" Xie Wenwen in front also looked at her sister and Lin Qing in disbelief. Didn't they say to pretend to shoot a video and then let him pay? How can it be true? How did the blood come from her sister's leg? Could it be? Xie Wenwen immediately felt a lack of oxygen in her brain. Didn't this trap her? "Boss Lin, what do you think we should do?" Xie Wanwan, who was sitting on the ground, looked aggrieved, but she had not forgotten what she came here for today. She wanted money. "Ah, wait, something's wrong. Didn't I go to the Hunter Center? Then I fainted. I remember you seemed to be talking about a trap and a camera." Thinking of something, Lin Qing stood up directly and grabbed the camera in front of him. But he didn't put on his pants properly, and the two women screamed at that time. Lin Qing watched the video and swallowed subconsciously. It turned out that the two sisters had sneaked into his company and came after him. But he also knew that it was really a real play just now. "Tell me, what is your purpose? Don't bother me. Give me 10 million alliance coins." Xie Wanwan, who was slumped on the ground, looked aggrieved. With tears in her eyes, she felt that the man must have woken up long ago, and the whole process was intentional. Lin Qing was indeed a little confused. He hadn't slept for 2 consecutive days when he went to the secret realm. After they used sleeping powder, he really thought it was a dream. He just thought he was hugging his wife Nana. If he said it out loud, no one would believe it. "Haha, you set me up, and you still ask me for money. 10 million. Lin Qing, who was set up, was naturally a little unhappy. If he didn't have the dragon god body, what would happen if he was really swiped and the video was sent to his wife? Although he didn't suffer any loss now, he was very angry. Then Lin Qing took out the memory card of the camera without thinking, threw the camera forward, and put the memory card in his pocket. Xie Wanwan, who saw this scene, rushed out directly and was about to jump under the bridge. She had no trump card to ask for money and she had lost her first time. She didn't want to live anymore. Lin Qing was also worried about the woman who wanted to commit suicide before she even put on her clothes. She really didn't mind making trouble. Then he rushed over with a slam, pulling her back. Forget it. I give up. I'm leaving. Keep an eye on her and don't let her commit suicide. I don't want to go to the police station for tea. Just when Lin Qing transferred the money and was about to leave, Xie Wanwan behind him said unwillingly, I will never forgive you in this life. Lin Qing, you must die a miserable death. Lin Qing was also speechless. There are actually people who come to the door, and then ask you for money and curse you after the job is done. It's really vicious. Looking at the time, it's already evening. I heard that a secret realm will be open tonight, and he will definitely not miss it. Looking at the two sisters who have already driven away, Lin Qing also called a taxi from the back. After arriving at the Elf Hunter Center, Lin Qing also saw that it was full of people. There were actually those who were chased by Nidaking last time. That Tishan was also among them, and it seemed that he had a new female companion. Qing, can you take me to the secret realm? I will definitely not cause you any trouble. At this time, a voice sounded next to him, and Lin Qing was also confused. He now had a headache when he heard a woman's voice. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.